Pearl? Oh my, isn't this Leah, the poor one? Did you get lonely because no one talks to you at the kindergarten? It's only you and your entourage of that mother and child who are ignoring me. Huh? Listen here, Pearl. But how is it acceptable for you to openly show that attitude, ignoring me so blatantly in front of the children, and even drag the kids into it? Isn't that behavior completely inappropriate for a parent at a kindergarten? Oh, the poor single mother is barking again. I have a husband, and I'm not poor enough to be treated like I'm destitute. Then bring your husband here. Only then will I believe you. I told you my husband is working overseas, so I can't bring him here. See? I knew it. Your husband isn't here, is he? I knew it. It's a single mother situation after all. I've told you already that's not the case. Poor people shouldn't be coming to the kindergarten. Seriously, enough already.
Grandpa, the friends at kindergarten didn't talk to me again. They said poor people shouldn't come to kindergarten.
Leah, do you have a moment?
Oh, Father? It's rare for you to call at this time. What's going on?
Well, it's just that I noticed something strange in a message from Billy. I wasn't sure if you knew about it, and I thought it'd be better to talk to you directly.
Huh? From Billy?
Billy, as you know, recently started going to that cram school, and that's when he decided to get a smartphone.
Yes, even though he's just in his first year of junior high, we discussed it with your father, and considering he comes home late sometimes, we thought it'd be better for him to have one. This way he could stay in touch, especially if he's out late. And I feel a little more secure knowing he can contact us if he needs anything. I didn't want him to feel left out, especially since many of his friends already have one.
From what I can gather, the message seemed to be from Maggie using Billy's phone. She must have borrowed it and sent me a message because the words used were ones a 5-year-old typically wouldn't use. I believe Billy must have helped her type it or at least guided her in writing it. I was shocked at how clearly written it was for someone so young. I wasn't sure if I should be concerned or not. I don't even know where she could have learned some of those phrases, but I'm sure Billy had to have helped her.
Now that you mention it, on the very first day Billy had his smartphone, Maggie kept running after him saying, "I want to use my brother's phone too." Did she get to borrow it from him? What did you receive in the message? What exactly did she say?
Well, it was this. Grandpa, my friends at kindergarten didn't talk to me again. Poor people shouldn't come to kindergarten.
What? This
is the exact message that was sent. I haven't edited it in any way. I made sure to read it through several times, and it was definitely the message Billy sent. I'm still trying to make sense of it. But it seems like Maggie might not be getting along well with her friends at kindergarten. She must be feeling left out or hurt in some way. As for the mention of poor people, I'm not sure how that came up, and I'm definitely confused about it.
I'm sorry for making you worry. It seems like Billy's been worried too. I'll talk to him about it properly later. I really need to understand what's going on with Maggie and why she's been feeling so upset. I'm not sure how to handle this.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Do you have any idea why this is happening? If you're having trouble with something, I'm here to listen. Don't hesitate to share what you're thinking.
Well, actually, I think I could use some advice. I believe the message you got was related to Maggie being ignored by her friends at kindergarten. She might be dealing with something that's making her feel isolated. I'm really concerned about what she might be going through at her age. She's only 5, and this is a difficult situation for kids when it comes to making friends and dealing with social dynamics.
Ignored?
It all started because I, as her mother, ended up getting on the wrong side of one of the moms who's a leader at the kindergarten. I didn't even see it coming, but it's been building up for a while now. At first I thought I could just stay out of it and avoid trouble, but then it became more complicated. Now it's affecting Maggie directly.
On the wrong side? What happened?
The mom's name is Pearl. Her father is the president of a major local company, and her husband is the vice president. They're quite wealthy and proud of making large donations to the kindergarten, showing off their upper-class status. They like to flaunt their power, and it seems like they enjoy being admired for their wealth and influence. But more than that, it seems like she's used to having people around her and doing whatever she wants because of her connections. It's It's hard to explain, but she seems to think that everyone else should bow to her, especially in the kindergarten setting. I'm just a bit confused as to why she felt the need to involve me in all of this.
Why did she pick on you?
She mistakenly thought that we were a poor single-mother family. She made assumptions based on some of the choices I've made and some of the circumstances surrounding our family.
Huh? A single mother?
Because my husband is working overseas and has never even come home, she must have assumed that we were divorced. I never gave her any reason to think that, but it didn't matter. Plus, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, and I work as an employee. Most of the clothes I wear are from brands that are generally considered inexpensive or budget-friendly. Our temporary apartment, while we wait for our new home to be built, is in a building that's 60 years old. It's not the nicest place, but it's all we can afford right now, and we're making do. It seems that these things matched her idea of what constitutes a poor family. So, Pearl and her entourage of other moms labeled us as the poorest family at the kindergarten. They've been talking about us behind our backs, and I'm sure it's been spreading to other parents, too.
I see.
I could have tolerated being the target of their behavior if it was just me, but recently they've even started telling other kids, "Don't play with Maggie, she's from a poor family." I overheard some of the other parents telling their children not to associate with her. I'm heartbroken for her, and it's really affecting her self-esteem. She's only 5, and she shouldn't be dealing with this kind of exclusion.
Has the kindergarten done anything to intervene?
Because Pearl's family has such influence, no matter how much I complain, they won't take any action. The kindergarten's director and the staff are all so eager to please Pearl's family, and no matter what I say or do, they won't step in. I've tried to address it with them, but they keep telling me to resolve it privately or just wait for things to settle down. They keep brushing it off. It's clear to me that they're trying to avoid getting on Pearl's bad side. They don't want to lose the funding or donations that her family provides.
I see.
I feel terrible for making Maggie go through this, but I'm planning to have her take a break from kindergarten for a while starting tomorrow. It breaks my heart to pull her out of school, but I think it's the best option for her right now. I don't want her to be exposed to any more of this negativity.
I need to check something, though. Isn't the company Pearl's father runs called D Corp?
Yes, it's D Corp. Are you, by any chance, involved with their business in some way?
Ah, I am. But does Pearl not know that I'm your father?
Well, that's right. Since I'm married now and my surname is different, and I met Paul after I got married, if she knew who I was, she definitely wouldn't have treated me that way. She's the type to respect power and authority, after all. She only values people who can offer her something in return. If she had known I was connected to you, she would have probably acted very differently. Can't help but feel like she's trying to manipulate everyone to get what she wants.
I see. Understood. Perhaps it's time to deal with that family.
Wait, father?
I didn't mean it like that. I've been thinking about some things related to D Corp. There's an investigation that's been ongoing for some time. I've been part of some discussions regarding a few issues that have been brewing behind the scenes. If it comes to light, Pearl's family will be brought down by it. I'm not saying I'm going to take action directly, but there are people involved who are looking into it. Things will come to a head soon, and once they do, I believe Pearl's family won't be in the position of power they once were. That's just the way things work sometimes.
I appreciate that you're concerned about me and Maggie, but you have a position in society and I don't want you to do anything reckless. Please, just be careful. I don't want you to get caught up in something dangerous or too complicated.
Don't worry about me. Thank you for looking out for me. But I really need to be more careful with my choice of words. I'll make sure to think things through before I act.
Maggie, it seems like she's taking a break from the kindergarten. I wonder if she's finally starting to understand the reality of the situation. If she has, then it's high time you both left the school and disappeared. Just looking at the two of you, mother and daughter, fills me with disgust. Poor Pearl. What? Leah! Why didn't you tell me? I just found out that the president of the company, which accounts for 70% of D Corp's sales, is your relative. I only found out recently myself. No, that's not the real surprise. Your father is actually my father's senior from high school and college. And on top of that, he's an active state legislator. Is this really something that needs to be talked about? Huh? It's not like I've been hiding it. If anyone asked, I would tell them. But then why have you been pretending to be poor? I'm not pretending to be anything. It's true that my husband is working overseas and we're living in an old apartment as a temporary place until our new home is built. As for my clothes, I just prefer affordable options. It's my personal taste. I have explained this all to you, but you and your friends have decided to label me and my daughter as a poor single mother family. That's not even the issue anymore. Please, can you connect me to your father? How much do I need to pay to make this entire situation go away? This entire situation? The competitive bidding issue, of course. Ah, so you're talking about the government-related bid rigging that D Corp was involved in, right? I've heard from my father's associates that they're investigating it. Bid rigging, where contracts were awarded unfairly to certain companies, right? And the company involved is D Corp. I don't really understand the details, but I know that there's a law called the Anti-Bid Rigging Law. I don't care about all that legal mumbo-jumbo. If this becomes public, my father and husband will be arrested. Just tell me how much your father wants to make this disappear. So you're suggesting bribing a state legislator to cover it all up? Don't put it that way. I just want you to keep quiet about it. Well, that's something I can't do. Why not? Because my father absolutely despises that kind of thing, and accepting money to cover up a crime would mean ruining his entire career. There's no way I would put him in that kind of situation. Well then, our kids are going to the same elementary school starting this spring, right? I'll make sure they get along, and we can even be friendly like the other rich families. Oh, but my daughter is going to the S University-affiliated elementary school in the neighboring city. What? We're actually building our new house near that school, so my involvement with your kindergarten group will end when she graduates. Well, actually, I wonder, will your child be transferring out soon? What am I supposed to do now? This is ruining my whole wealthy lifestyle. By the way, didn't you watch the news? What? Your father and husband's names are already being reported. No way! I can't handle any more of this. Just wait! I'm leaving now. Wait! I just looked outside and there are reporters everywhere. Please, at least help me out this once.
Leah, good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Are you on your way to the airport now?
Yes. Maggie and Billy insisted on greeting you at the airport. Since my husband is finally returning after finishing his overseas work assignment, they're both really eager to see him.
I see. It's good that everything has been resolved by the time you meet him.
That's true. Of course, I've already explained the situation to him. I think he was quite worried, but it's a relief that things are calming down. As far as the kindergarten situation goes, things are finally peaceful, which is such a relief. Pearl's group of mothers has quieted down considerably, and it seems like the kids are getting along better now.
That's good to hear. Well, leave all the political matters to me. You just focus on being a mother and wife and do your best for the family.
Yes, thank you, Father. At last, things around me are calming down, and I can finally take a deep breath and feel a bit of relief. It's been a long time coming, but after so many weeks of tension and uncertainty, the situation is beginning to settle. I was honestly starting to wonder if we would ever get to this point, but here we are. The worst seems to be behind us, at least for now. Since then, a lot has happened, and the changes have been significant. It seems that D Corporation, which has been at the center of much turmoil, has undergone some drastic management changes. The entire leadership team has been replaced, and they're currently in the process of overhauling the company's structure. It's a difficult but necessary step, especially considering the problems they'd been facing. There's still a lot of uncertainty surrounding the company's future, but they are making an effort to restructure, hoping to improve the situation and create a more stable environment going forward. It's not going to be an easy road, but they're trying. On a personal note, Pearl has had her own dramatic upheaval. Her life has completely changed since everything started. Her husband, as well as her father, found themselves in serious trouble, so much so that they both became involved with the police. It's hard to imagine how things got so bad, but it seems that they crossed a line that they couldn't come back from. Both men had to deal with the legal consequences of their actions, and it wasn't long before Pearl had no choice but to divorce her husband. It must have been a difficult and emotional decision for her, but in light of everything that had happened, I suppose she had no other option. Divorce is never easy, especially when there are so many other issues to contend with, but for Pearl, it was the only way out. To add to her troubles, it appears that Pearl's parents also went through their own divorce. The breakdown of their marriage added even more complexity to an already chaotic situation. Pearl must have felt like her entire world was falling apart, with family and relationships fracturing around her. Divorce alone is a painful enough experience, but when it involves multiple family members, it becomes even more complicated. She had to deal with the fallout from both her husband and her parents all at once. How overwhelming that must have been, to have everything you once thought was stable suddenly crumble beneath your feet. In the aftermath, Pearl tried to move forward, hoping to start fresh. She packed up and took her mother and child with her as they fled the turmoil of their previous life. They relocated to another area, hoping that a change of scenery would bring a sense of peace and a chance at a new beginning. It was a bold move, one that required courage and strength, but at first it seemed to be working. They found a new place to live, and for a time, things seemed to be improving. Pearl was starting over, and that gave her a sense of hope. However, things quickly became more complicated than they seemed. Pearl couldn't shake the life she had once lived. She had been used to luxury, to the comforts and indulgences that came with her former lifestyle, and it wasn't long before she began trying to recreate that lifestyle despite the fact that she could no longer afford it. She started spending money she didn't have, going back into debt and even borrowing money to keep up the appearances of the life she once led. The pressure of maintaining that image became overwhelming for her. She couldn't let go of the past, and it drove her to make reckless financial decisions, all in the hopes of holding on to something that was no longer realistic. Her mother, who had been supporting her during these difficult times, started to become deeply concerned about the effect this behavior was having on Pearl's child. The financial instability, the reckless spending, the constant strain, it was clear that this was not a healthy environment for anyone, and certainly not for a child. Pearl's mother saw the damage it was causing and tried to step in, hoping to guide her daughter back onto a more reasonable path. But Pearl refused to listen. She couldn't let go of the dream of the life she had lost, and as a result, she kept making poor choices. After that, Pearl's life seemed to spiral even further out of control. The debt continued to pile up, and she couldn't stop herself from making one bad decision after another. It was at this point she needed to reach out to her old friends, sending out a desperate message to everyone asking for help. She needed someone to save her from the mess she had created, but unfortunately, it seemed like no one was willing to offer that help. She sent out a mass message to her former friends, hoping that someone would step in and support her, but after that message, she completely disappeared. There's been no contact since, and no one knows where she is now. It's like she just vanished. It's a tragic story, one that makes you wonder where things went wrong for her. Pearl was once someone with so much potential, so many opportunities, but somewhere along the way, she lost her way. The pressures of her past, her inability to let go of the life she once had, and her refusal to face the reality of her situation all led her down a path of self-destruction. Now she's gone, and we're left to wonder if she'll ever be able to put the pieces of her life back together. The debt, the broken relationships, the fractured family, can she ever recover from all of that? Or has it all become too much to bear? It's a reminder of how fragile everything can be. Life can change in an instant, and sometimes the choices we make can have consequences we never imagined. Pearl's story is one of loss, not just of material things, but of relationships, of security, and of her own sense of self. And now she's gone without a trace, leaving only the memories of what she was and what she could have been. It's heartbreaking, really, and I can't help but wonder if she'll ever find a way to make peace with herself. Perhaps, in some way, she will, or perhaps she's already too far gone. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
All right, I've made up my mind.
Wyatt? I was just about to text you to ask if you were done with work. What did you decide?
Rima, sorry, but I'm spending tonight with my ex-girlfriend.
Riley? What? Your ex-girlfriend, as in Riley, the one who lived next door to your parents?
Yeah, my childhood friend and ex. One of those people who are just extra special.
Hold on, are you seriously saying that, knowing what day it is today? Even if you didn't realize, what you're saying is completely outrageous. Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Yeah, that's part of why I'm messaging you. The hotel we booked for our wedding anniversary tonight, I'll be staying there with Riley instead.
What?
The hotel's already reserved, so I might as well spend it with the person I'm actually with right now, right?
I seriously question your sanity. I never thought I'd be treated like this on our first wedding anniversary.
Oh, come on, you can go any other time, right? Just let me have this one.
I can't even begin to understand your thought process.
Please, just let it go.
You do realize what this means for us going forward, right?
I'm not sure what you mean, but I'll take that as you letting me have my way. I've already checked into the hotel, by the way.
I see. I guess it can't be helped.
Thanks.
Thanks? Seriously? Your delusion is so overwhelming, it's almost refreshing. I've managed to calm down because of it. I'll be heading back to my parents' house then. I knew it. He's involved with her. What? It feels like my years of trust and complacency have been used against me, and I am furious. Jennifer, calm down. Are you saying the private investigator you hired has reported back? Yes. So it was her after all? Yes, it was her. I can't forgive this. I understand how you feel, but you need to stay calm. How composed we are now could determine what happens next. Yes, I'll do my best to calm down. Jennifer, I know it's hard to stay calm right now, but I have some urgent additional information. What is it? Are you alone right now? Yes, my husband is away on a company trip, so I'm alone tonight. Understood. Is this about Wyatt? Was there something about him in the investigator's report? A little, yes. Some details about him came up as a byproduct of the investigation I requested. Wyatt is my husband's stepson, so he isn't biologically mine, but even so, I couldn't help but feel sickened by what I read. Could you share that with me as well? Sure, would you like to come over now? If it's all right, I'll come by in an hour. Got it, I'll get everything ready.
Whew! What an amazing night! Chemistry really is important, huh? I'm sleep-deprived but completely satisfied. Morning coffee with someone you connect with is unbeatable.
You're actually saying that to me? Your wife?
What?
The fact that that's your response, you're beyond saving.
Huh? Anyway, no time to waste. She's asking for a round 2, so I'll catch up with you later. Oh, by the way, I extended the stay. I'll be back in a week.
A week? What about work?
Who cares about that? Just tell him I'm sick or something.
Do it yourself. I'm not doing it for you.
Later.
He is hopeless. Rima, thank you for last night and today. Have you managed to calm down a bit? Yeah, somehow. I spoke with my brother earlier and explained the situation, and he's agreed to let me stay at his place for a while. He even introduced me to one of his lawyer friends, and I've already scheduled a consultation for tomorrow. Oh, that's quick. And you're just getting started, aren't you? Yeah, first I need to start gathering evidence. We only found out about Wyatt's cheating last night, and while the investigation report you commissioned suggests their relationship has been going on for some time, if I'm going to move forward with the divorce, I need a solid final blow, something irrefutable. Also, I'll need to coordinate with how you're proceeding. You're right. We need to stay on the same page here. If you'd like, I can refer you to the private investigator I used. Since it's someone my brother knows, they're willing to give a bit of a discount. Really? Oh, that would be a huge help. All right, I'll pass your contact information to them. Thank you so much. What about you? What are you going to do next? Well, Wyatt will probably waltz back in like nothing happened, but you can't just go on like that, right? Are you going back to your parents' house for now? Yes, that's the plan. My workplace will be farther away, but fortunately, my job can be done remotely. I'm planning to discuss it with my manager. Got it. Our enemy is the same. Let's keep in touch and get through this together. Yes.
Hey, Rima! Huh? What? I just got back from the hotel and there was a divorce application sitting on the table. Perfect timing! Thanks!
Oh, perfect timing, huh?
Yeah, Riley and I, after spending an entire week at the hotel, coming together again and again, how should I say this? The thought of us returning to separate lives now just feels so sad. Riley feels the same way, and honestly, I feel bad for you, but I've decided to finalize the divorce as soon as possible. With that resolve, Riley and I came home together, and there it was, a divorce application with your name already filled in. All your stuff was packed up and gone, too. And now that I think about it, you said you were going to your parents'. You even took care of the moving process for me. Thanks to you, Riley and I can start living together today.
Oh, is that so?
Seriously, thank you. I'm really grateful. Truly, I mean it.
Is that so?
I'm gonna be so happy with Riley.
Is that so?
I'm heading out now to file the divorce papers and the marriage application at the same time.
The level of delusion you've reached is truly astounding.
Our divorce is finalized, and Riley and I are officially married. We're husband and wife now.
Congratulations.
We're heading straight off to our honeymoon.
Oh, so you're not coming back home?
Nah, Riley wanted to go to this resort, so we'll be there for about a week.
Another week, huh? Not that it's any of my business now, but have you informed your company about your absence?
Yeah, can you handle that for me again?
No, do it yourself. I have no obligation to do that anymore.
Once we get to the resort, we're heading straight to the mixed outdoor hot spring.
Jennifer, the divorce has been finalized. It seems they also filed the marriage registration with Riley at the same time. Oh my, how indecent! Well, from our side, it's been quite an interesting turn of events. I see. How about you? Yes, everything is going according to plan here. I just had my husband sign the divorce papers a moment ago, and I plan to submit them tomorrow. Not immediately, but tomorrow? Yeah, just to be safe, I'll do it tomorrow. Soon my divorce with my husband will be finalized. We'll be complete strangers. You had met with your husband earlier, right? How was it? It seems he had no idea that his affair had been discovered. His face turned completely pale when I told him. He signed the divorce papers without saying much, but then suddenly it seemed to hit him. He looked at me and said, "Wait, I still have time, right?" And with a desperate wide smile, he ran off. I wonder what he was trying to get in time for, I wonder. Who knows?
What the hell? Could this really be happening? I wish it weren't true.
What now?
Riley and Dad have been seeing each other, and it seems Riley actually considers Dad as her main partner, and Dad is seriously in love with Riley too. It seems like he wanted to marry Riley, but since he's still married to Mom, if their affair were to get exposed, it would result in a divorce and alimony. To avoid that risk, it looks like he thought that if I, his son, marry Riley and we start living together, they'd always have a reason to be together.
But you're still married to me, aren't you? Just so you know, I'm going to claim alimony.
It's gonna be on me to pay, and it won't affect us, so whatever.
What a perfect example of someone only thinking about their own convenience.
But the thing is, Dad's affair was discovered by Mom, and the divorce has been decided. Dad's gonna have to pay alimony to Mom, but now he can marry Riley openly. Last night, Dad contacted Riley and told her that.
You and Riley must have filed your marriage registration just a little bit ago, right?
Yeah, we did.
You probably already know this, but legally, people who used to be husband and wife can't remarry each other. Even if you and Riley get divorced now, your dad and Riley can't get married anymore.
That's it! That's what I was trying to tell you!
What?
Dad showed up at our honeymoon resort, and just now in our hotel room there was total chaos. Dad was shouting at me, "Why did you file the marriage papers with such timing? Now we can't get married!" He started hitting me, and Riley started kicking me and screaming. They both just tore into me. Then they both got all fired up saying, "But our love won't change." And before I knew it, Dad and Riley were about to You know, right in front of me.
Oh my.
I couldn't bear to watch anymore, so I grabbed my stuff and fled the resort.
Wow. It's turned into a full-blown mess, hasn't it?
What am I supposed to do now?
Don't ask me.
What?
We've already divorced. Don't drag me into this.
I got fired from my job.
You got fired from your job?
I stayed in a hotel for a week. Then after that, I just couldn't get myself to leave the house because of all the chaos. But eventually I had no more paid leave left, so I forced myself to go back to work after nearly half a month. And when I got there, they treated the 2 weeks as unauthorized absences.
All right. Unauthorized absence for 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Why didn't you tell them you'd be absent?
You told me to handle it.
But...
The thing is, you took the extra vacation for staying at the hotel because you were cheating with another woman, and the honeymoon trip with Riley was after we'd already divorced. And yet you just dumped all the responsibility of notifying the company on me, which is totally unreasonable.
What the hell am I supposed to do? This is a nightmare, and I have no idea what to do anymore.
Just so you know, I'll be claiming alimony later, so make sure you pay up.
This is still going on? It's a nightmare! This is my fault. I should have made sure to take care of everything.
You're just realizing that now?
What do you mean?
It's just like you said the other day. All of this started because of the mess you created. You thought you could get away with everything, but now that things have spiraled, you're blaming everything on bad luck and timing.
I didn't think it would go this far!
Well, now you know. You should have thought things through before you did all this.
It's too late now, I know that.
You didn't have any intention of actually working through it, did you? You kept pretending everything was fine while making it worse, lying, cheating, and expecting others to fix it for you.
I didn't think it would be like this.
Well, it is. Now you need to deal with the consequences whether you want to or not.
What do I do? I don't know what to do anymore.
I've told you already, I'm not helping you. You're on your own.
But please, I need your help just this once.
You think I'll just help you after everything you've done? You're the one who chose all of this. You're the one who caused it, not me. You have to face it now.
Please, I just don't know what to do. I'm so lost and everything is falling apart.
You should have thought about that before.
I've made a huge mistake. I should never have done all this. I've been thinking about everything, and I don't know why I was so selfish. I thought I could get away with it, but now it's too late. Everything's ruined. I hurt so many people. I hurt you. I hurt Riley. I hurt Mom. I can't take back what I've done.
What do you want me to say? You've already made your choices. Now you have to live with them.
But I don't know how. I don't know what to do anymore.
You'll figure it out. But don't expect anyone to save you now. You have to face the consequences on your own.
But I don't know if I can. I feel like everything is crashing down.
It is crashing down, and it's your own doing. I can't fix it for you.
Please, just listen. I know I messed up and I don't deserve forgiveness, but I don't know what else to do. I need to fix things.
I've heard enough from you.
What? Why?
I've had enough of your excuses. This is on you. You're the one who chose this path. You didn't think things through, and now you have to deal with the aftermath.
I understand. I know I messed up. I'm just asking for a chance to make things right.
You've had chances. You've had many chances, and you have thrown every single one of them away.
Please, I'll do anything. Just give me a chance.
No, I'm done here. While the person in question was still wallowing in their despair, I took it upon myself to push things forward, ensuring that the alimony was settled in full, and in one lump sum, no less. I wasn't going to allow any of this to drag on longer than necessary. There was no point in delaying something that needed to be resolved quickly, especially when it came to such an important issue. Time was of the essence, and I wasn't going to let him waste any more of it, nor allow his emotional state to get in the way of practical matters. It had already been a long, drawn-out situation. We couldn't afford to continue like that, caught in limbo. Naturally, I didn't forget about Riley, the one who had caused all of this in the first place, the affair partner. She was no less responsible for the mess than Wyatt, and I made sure she was billed for her part as well. It was the least I could do. After all, she had contributed to the ruin of not just a marriage, but a family, and I wasn't about to let that slide without making sure she faced the consequences. The situation might have been difficult, but it was not going to be a free pass for anyone involved. Riley, in particular, seemed to think that her involvement was somewhat excusable, but I wasn't about to let her think she could escape her share of the blame so easily. I had to remind myself that while I was within my rights to demand this from them, I was still dealing with a family dynamic that was much more complicated than I would have liked. Family, no matter how flawed, always seemed to pull you back in, even when you had long since accepted the fact that you were better off without them. But in this case, there was no escaping what needed to be done. The financial aspects of it all had to be handled, and handled quickly. So I set about ensuring everything was squared away. The last thing I needed was for them to try and drag things out even longer, especially now that the damage had been done. Looking at my stepfather, who was now in the unfortunate position of being a tragic figure unable to legally marry, and Riley, it became clear that they both viewed everything that was happening as a little more than a storyline, a way to bolster the image of their relationship. To them, every part of their ordeal, from the betrayal to the eventual separation, seemed to be just another piece of drama to help cement their connection. I began to notice how they behaved, how everything that unfolded between them seemed to be viewed through the lens of a script they were following. There was no real sense of remorse or reflection, only an eagerness to move on and pretend as though everything was going according to plan. It was as though their entire relationship had been nothing more than a performance, and this unfortunate mess they had created was simply a chapter they could easily brush aside. They seemed to take it all in stride, as though it was something expected, something that only added flavor to their story. I could almost see them as characters in a soap opera, playing their parts, believing that everything that happened was somehow meant to be. It was an unsettling thought, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized it made sense. This was how they processed everything, the betrayal, the lies, the heartache. It was all part of some narrative they had built for themselves, a story where they were the central figures and everyone else was simply an extra in the background. I almost wondered if they were able to block out the emotional and moral implications of what they had done, or if they truly believed they had done nothing wrong. Their emotions, however, didn't seem to run deep. There was no real regret, no true understanding of the harm they had caused. From what I gathered, they didn't seem to realize how everything they had done had affected not just Wyatt's family, but the wider network of people who had known them. They had become so absorbed in their little world that they were blind to the pain they'd inflicted. There were people who had once looked up to them, people who had cared about them, and they had shattered those relationships with their actions. But neither of them seemed to have any awareness of the damage they had done. All they cared about was each other, their newly formed bond, and how they could present themselves as the victims of a cruel twist of fate. They were blind to everything else. Still, even though their perception of it all was rather self-serving, they managed to settle their debts. Riley and Wyatt both, paying the alimony in full and in one lump sum. I was somewhat surprised at how quickly it was done, but I suppose it was to be expected when there was little to no resistance from either of them. They had no intention of making things more difficult than they needed to be, not when they were so focused on their new lives. They probably thought that paying the money and putting everything behind them would help them move forward, but the truth was the mess they had made was not something you could easily erase with money. No amount of alimony would undo the damage, but at least it brought the financial side of things to a close. For me, this quick resolution was actually a blessing. While I had my reservations about the whole situation, at least it meant there would be less hassle in the long run. The last thing I wanted was to keep dragging things out or dealing with more of the emotional fallout from this entire mess. There had been enough of that already, and with the alimony paid in full, I was able to cross that particular issue off my list. No more arguments, no more back and forth. It was done. I didn't have to worry about Wyatt or Riley trying to wriggle their way out of their responsibilities. They had paid, and that was that. I could focus on moving forward, and that was the most important thing for me at this point. But life didn't stop there. After the payment was made, Wyatt and Riley's marriage came to an end, just as expected. Their relationship, which had always seemed to be built on shaky ground, collapsed completely. Wyatt, having lost everything, his family, his home, his finances, left town. There was nothing left for him there. He took what little he could and disappeared. No one knew where he went, and honestly, no one cared. His absence was just another part of the drama that had played out. It was as if he had become a ghost, fading into the background, no longer a part of the picture. The only thing left behind was the mess he had created and the sense of emptiness that followed him out of town. As for Riley, she didn't exactly have the luxury of disappearing. She was left to deal with the fallout of the divorce, but instead of taking time to reflect on her role in everything that had happened, she quickly moved on, within a matter of weeks. She and my ex-stepfather were already living together. It seemed like the next logical step for them, a way to solidify their bond. Their relationship, which had started off in secrecy, was now fully out in the open, and yet, despite the outward appearance of everything being fine, there was an underlying tension that couldn't be ignored. In the beginning, everything seemed to be progressing smoothly, or at least that's what they wanted everyone to believe, but soon enough the cracks began to show. The neighbors, who had been quietly observing their relationship from a distance, finally started to take notice. At first they kept their opinions to themselves, but as the days went by, it became increasingly difficult to ignore the odd looks and whispered conversations behind closed doors. The whole situation had started to attract attention, and not in a good way. It was then that my ex-stepfather and Riley seemed to wake up to reality. For all their earlier confidence, they hadn't realized just how much judgment they were under. It wasn't just their immediate families that had been affected by their actions, it was the whole community. People who had once respected them now viewed them with suspicion, and it seemed to be a hard pill to swallow. They were no longer the picture-perfect couple they had once imagined themselves to be. Instead, they were just two people who made a series of poor decisions and now had to live with the consequences. Their fantasy of a happily ever after was crumbling before their eyes. It wasn't long before their relationship started to show signs of strain. The awkward silences grew longer, the arguments more frequent, and the sense of unease that had previously been pushed aside could no longer be ignored. They had moved in together quickly, thinking it would somehow solidify their connection, but it had only brought out the differences between them. They weren't the perfect match they had once believed themselves to be, and the reality of their situation was starting to take a toll. Now it seemed as though the end was near. The tension between them had become palpable. The relationship was no longer the fresh, exciting new beginning they had imagined it to be. It had become a strained and uncomfortable existence, one that was unlikely to last much longer. Every day felt like a reminder of how fragile their bond truly was, and how quickly it had unraveled. The realization that they were not going to live happily ever after, that their story was not one of a fairy tale romance, seemed to have finally sunk in.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Robin, it's been 3 years since we last spoke. It's your older sister here. I bet you've been feeling down ever since I stole your husband, right? But cheer up. I've got some good news for you, so don't hesitate to keep reading this message. Hello? Goodbye. Hey, I said I've got good news. Listen to me. I'm getting married to a rich boyfriend, so I'll be returning your ex-husband to you. He said he's ready to remarry you, so take him back with open arms, okay? What kind of misunderstanding are we dealing with this time? Huh? What misunderstanding? What part of what I said is a misunderstanding? I'm just letting you know I don't need your ex-husband anymore, so I'm giving him back to you. Ex-husband? I never got divorced in the first place. Wait, what? I got married 4 years ago, and my husband and I haven't had any major arguments. We're getting along well, and we even have a 2-year-old child now. What? You're the one who's got things all wrong. Your ex-husband fell in love with me, and we ran away together. That's why he's been living with me for the past 3 years. There's no way I could be mistaken about that. It's the undeniable truth. Well, it's true that you've been living with someone you believe to be my ex-husband. That much is a fact. Right? But here's the thing. The man you think is my ex-husband isn't my husband at all. He's someone completely different. Wait, what? 3 years ago, when you sent me that weird message saying, I'm taking your husband, and then disappeared, my husband and I were actually on a vacation at a resort. To get more specific, at the exact moment your message came through, my husband and I were strolling hand in hand through a beautiful resort town. What? Ever since then, my husband and I have been living together as usual with no problems in our marriage. So the man you think is my husband has to be someone else entirely. What the heck? Well, if that's the case, you should have contacted me right away. The fact that you didn't means you're lying to cover up the pain of having your husband stolen from you. Didn't you have me blocked until just recently? Of course I did send a message to correct you, but it was never marked as read. What? You're kidding, right? Robin! Hey, what the hell is going on here? Why on earth am I getting served with a demand for compensation? You better explain this to me right now. Why are you even calling me about this? Because you said I didn't actually steal your husband, right? There's no reason for me to be hit with a compensation claim if that's the case. By the sound of it, I'm guessing you received a certified letter, right? So you do know something about this. I'm not directly involved. I've only heard some of the details, that's all. Well, then explain it to me. You know the name of the person filing the claim, don't you? You should have seen it on the letter. Huh? I take it you didn't even bother to carefully check the details before deciding this was my doing and coming after me. The name listed here, it says Miriam? That's right, it's our cousin, Miriam. What? Why would Miriam? She's the one who used to call me big sister and looked up to me so much. Why would she be the one filing a claim for compensation against me? You seriously can't figure it out? What the hell is this? What's going on? If you read through the document carefully, it's all explained there, but fine, I'll make it clear for you. The Mark you ran off with, the one you had an affair with, is actually Miriam's ex-husband. What? Miriam said the statute of limitations for filing a claim for compensation hasn't expired yet. Apparently, after you and Mark split, he tried asking Miriam to take him back. That attempt to reconcile was what helped her pinpoint your current location. Of course, she flatly refused to get back together with him, though. No way. You're telling me Miriam and Mark were married? You might not have known this, but Mark, Marcus, Miriam, and I all went to the same university. What? Seriously? Yeah, first Marcus and I started dating. At the time, Miriam intentionally had a bit of interest in Marcus, but when she noticed Mark and started interacting with him, they hit it off and began dating. Eventually, after graduating from university, both couples ended up getting married. And here's where it gets interesting. By pure coincidence, the apartments we moved into after getting married were in the same complex, albeit on different floors. The A apartment complex? Exactly. Building 3 of that complex, though Marcus and I have since moved out. Wait, what was the apartment number again? Marcus and I were in Unit 305, while Miriam and Mark were in 502. That's it. What do you mean? I saw Marcus near the station and decided to follow him, thinking it was the perfect chance to figure out where you were living. The place I ended up following him to was Unit 502. Ah, so you thought you were tailing Marcus, but in reality you were following Mark instead. Now that I think about it, even though I knew your husband's name was Marcus, I guess I convinced myself otherwise while I was getting involved with Mark. Ah, well, sounds like you rewrote your own memories to fit your narrative. Jessie, you have a knack for believing whatever suits you best, don't you? That's not... You totally did, didn't you? Come on, admit it. Fine, whatever. If it's compensation, my rich boyfriend will pay for it anyway. Help me, I don't have any money. Robin, pick up! If this is about money, I'm not lending you any. I haven't even said anything yet. Well, you just said you don't have money, so it's pretty obvious where this conversation is going. Did I hit the nail on the head? Fine. Can you just lend me some money, please? I already told you, no. Weren't you just boasting about how your rich boyfriend would handle everything? He dumped me! Said there's no way he'd marry a homewrecker who's also a 2-timing cheat. Oh, so he found out about your past behavior? Yeah, his parents had me investigated when he mentioned me to them. Ah, well that makes sense. When a family has money, they have to be careful about people who might target their assets. Especially when it comes to marriage, they're bound to be extra cautious. This isn't the time for you to be analyzing their reasoning. What am I supposed to do now? Figure it out on your own. You're my sister. You're supposed to help me when I'm in trouble. Don't pull the sister card only when it's convenient for you. You got yourself into this mess by going after someone you thought was my husband. Sure, your mistakes didn't directly harm me, but Miriam ended up being the real victim in all of this. Why should I lift a finger to help someone who's done nothing but cause problems? I can't believe this. Oh, and by the way, don't even think about turning to Mom and Dad for help. What? They were furious about what you did 3 years ago. Your little escapade ruined their relationship with Uncle and Aunt, the parents of Miriam. At this point, they barely tolerate the fact that I still keep in touch with Miriam. No way! That's how bad it got. In fact, Mom and Dad wanted me to tell you something. They don't consider you their daughter anymore. They don't want to see your face ever again. And they've officially disowned you. You can't be serious! Oh, I'm completely serious. Also, they've moved, so if you're thinking of showing up at the old house, don't bother. Some strangers are living there now. Nobody's going to help me. What am I supposed to do now? Robin, this is Jessie again. You can't just abandon me like this. You know I made mistakes, but I'm still your sister. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Stop calling me, Jessie. You have burned too many bridges to expect anything from me anymore. I have my own life, and I refuse to let your problems drag me down. Goodbye. Since it seemed like Jessie's messages were going to drag on endlessly with no sign of stopping or any real conclusion in sight, I finally decided that it was time to stop replying altogether. The endless stream of messages was getting more and more overwhelming, and the conversation isn't going anywhere. There was no sense in continuing to engage in a dialogue that seemed to be going in circles, especially when I felt like my responses weren't really making a difference. I had hoped that at some point things would calm down and she would figure it out on her own, but it was becoming increasingly clear that the situation was more complicated than I had initially thought. I had always been there for Jessie, or at least I thought I had been. We had been friends for a long time, and I'd seen her go through her fair share of ups and downs. She was the type of person who would always get herself into some kind of mess, yet somehow managed to get out of it with little more than a scratch. But this time, it felt different. This time, there was a sense of helplessness, a feeling that things were spiraling beyond her control. I didn't know how to help her anymore, especially when it seemed like nothing I said was having any real impact. She was determined to make her own choices, for better or worse, and maybe the best thing I could do for her was give her the space to figure things out on her own. So in a moment of frustration, I made the decision to stop responding and just leave her messages on read. It wasn't a decision I made lightly, and it carried with it a sense of guilt that I couldn't shake. I had always been the one to listen, to offer advice when she needed it, and to try to steer her in the right direction. But now, I wasn't sure if anything I said would make a difference. It was as though Jessie was caught up in a whirlwind of emotions and confusions that I couldn't untangle. She seemed to be stuck in a cycle of decisions that weren't leading her anywhere good, and I wasn't sure how much more I could help her when it felt like I was just another voice in the noise. Maybe, I thought, she just needed space to process everything and figure things out on her own. But as I would soon find out, leaving her on read didn't mean the end of the conversation. In the days that followed, Jessie's messages continued to flood my phone, each one seemingly more urgent and frantic than the last. It was as if she couldn't stop herself from updating me about her every move, every thought, and every new twist in the strange and chaotic story of her life. Even though I had stopped responding, it seemed like she was still looking for someone, anyone, to witness her drama, her frustrations, and her triumphs, no matter how small they seemed. The more I read, the more I began to feel like I was watching her unravel bit by bit. It wasn't just about the things she was saying anymore, it was about the way she was saying them. Her messages were no longer full of excitement and optimism about her new life in New York City. Instead, they became desperate, confused, and full of regret. Jessie, the girl that had once been so confident and fearless, was now showing a side of herself that was vulnerable and uncertain. She was trying to hold it together, but it was becoming increasingly difficult. At first, her messages had seemed harmless enough. She was just telling me about her new adventure in the city, her excitement about leaving her small hometown behind, and the promises of new opportunities and experiences. Jessie had always been the type to embrace change, to chase after something bigger and better, and she was convinced that New York City was the answer to all of her problems. It was supposed to be the fresh start she had been waiting for, the place where she could reinvent herself and leave everything behind. But as the days went by, It became clear that New York wasn't the dreamland she had imagined. New York City boyfriend is sending me money. Nobody in my hometown is willing to help me. I remember reading this message and feeling a mix of concern and disbelief. Jessie had always been good at finding people to lean on, but I had never heard her speak so bluntly about her situation. She seemed to be bragging about the money she was receiving from this boyfriend she had met online, but something about the message didn't sit right with me. It felt like she was depending on this stranger in a way that seemed dangerous and reckless, as though she was putting all her faith in someone she barely knew just because he was offering her financial support. The fact that she was so quick to turn to this guy for help instead of trying to rely on herself made me uneasy. It also made me think about the larger picture. Jessie had always been the type to expect people to come to her rescue to offer help when she needed it. It was a pattern that I had noticed over the years, and it was clear that this situation wasn't an isolated incident. There had been countless times in the past when Jessie had found herself in trouble and expected others to bail her out. But now, it seemed like she was trying to solve her problems by relying on someone who was, for all intents and purposes, a complete stranger. It was a risky move, one that I didn't think she fully understood. But that was just the beginning. As Jessie continued to update me, her tone began to shift. What had started as excitement about her new life in New York City quickly turned into frustration and confusion. She had gone from feeling like she was on top of the world to feeling completely alone and betrayed. Guys in New York City are so cold. As soon as I went out of my way to meet him, he completely ghosted me. Reading this, I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. Jessie had been so excited to meet this guy, convinced that he was going to be the one to make her feel welcome in the city, to show her the ropes and help her navigate this new chapter of her life. But instead, he had completely shut her out. It wasn't just that he didn't respond to her messages or calls, it was that he had gone silent entirely. She had gone out of her way to meet him, and in return, he had disappeared. It wasn't just a rejection, it felt like an abandonment. Jessie had invested so much hope and energy into this person, and to have him completely shut her out was a blow she wasn't prepared for. I could tell that Jessie was hurt, but rather than sitting with her feelings, she quickly tried to brush it off and move on to the next thing. "I've already found a new guy. Typical me, right?" It was clear that she wasn't letting herself fully process what had happened. Instead of confronting the feelings of disappointment and hurt, she was throwing herself into the next thing that came along. This new guy, this new relationship, was her way of trying to fill the void left by the first. But even as she typed those words, I could tell that she wasn't fully convinced by the new situation. She was trying to convince herself that everything was fine, that she could handle it, but deep down, I knew that she was just running from the pain of being hurt. She wasn't facing her feelings, she was covering them up with a distraction of a new relationship. And it wasn't long before that relationship began to show its own cracks. My new boyfriend lent me some money, but something feels off about him. This was when I began to get really concerned. Jessie had been so confident earlier, so quick to jump into a new relationship, but now she was expressing doubt. She didn't explain what exactly felt off about him, but it was clear that something was wrong. Her intuition was telling her that she was getting herself into another dangerous situation, but she wasn't sure how to get out of it. I could almost feel her internal struggle as she tried to justify her actions while simultaneously realizing that she had made yet another mistake. "What should I do? He told me I need to earn money here, and then he took me to this really shady place." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I could sense the panic in her message, the fear that had crept in as she realized she was in over her head. What kind of place was she talking about? What did this guy want from her? Why had she ended up in a situation where she was being asked to earn money in a shady place? It was all too much, and I couldn't help but wonder how she had gotten here. How had she gone from being a girl with dreams of a fresh start in New York to someone caught in a dangerous situation like this? This is so bad. Her brief, desperate message left no room for doubt. Jessie knew that she was in trouble, but she didn't know how to escape. It was clear that she was stuck, unsure of what to do or who to turn to. She had gone down this path before, but this time it felt different. The stakes were higher, and there was no safety net. "Please help me." That was the last message I received from her. I sat there for a long time after reading it, the weight of her words sinking in. I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of worry for her. She'd gotten herself tangled up in a situation that was beyond her control. And now she was reaching out for help, but there was nothing I could do. It was a helpless feeling, one that I had experienced before, but never to this extent. Jessie had always been the type to get herself into trouble, but this time it felt like she was in over her head. She had gone too far, and there was no easy way out. For a long time, I kept wondering if I should respond, if I should reach out and offer her the help she so desperately needed. But in the end, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I wasn't sure what I could say to make any difference. Maybe she needed to face the consequences of her actions, to experience the fallout before she could start making better choices. Maybe she needed to hit rock bottom before she could start climbing up. So I didn't respond. Instead, I sat in silence, hoping that Jessie would find a way out of the mess she had made. I wasn't sure if she would, but I couldn't be the one to fix everything for her anymore. She had to figure it out on her own, no matter how much it hurt to watch her struggle. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
I brought back my 27-year-old girlfriend and our 6-year-old daughter from the place I had been stationed alone for work. Destiny, you're no longer needed. Sign the divorce papers and get out. Take our son with you, too.
Is that so? Have you already prepared the divorce papers?
Yeah, I'll put them in the mailbox tomorrow. I've already filled out my part, so I want you to submit them to the municipal office as soon as possible.
I see. Well, since you've gone to the trouble, I'll accept them. But I won't be submitting anything until I've confirmed that alimony and child support have been deposited into my account.
What? Huh?
What's the problem?
It's just, your response is unusually calm. I was expecting something more like panic or outrage.
Oh, is that what you were hoping for?
Well, I mean, normally I don't think anyone would be composed in this situation.
That's probably because I've known about your affair for quite some time.
What?
You've been having an affair during the 8 years you were stationed away, and you even had a child with the other woman, didn't you? At first, you were supposed to return after 3 years, but you kept finding excuses to extend your stay. In reality, it was because you had a child with her, wasn't it? You couldn't come back here because of that. And now, after all these years, you finally decided to return because as your child with her grew older, it became harder to keep it a secret. The timing coincided with our son Jake turning 18 and becoming an adult. Isn't that the truth?
You knew all of that? This is actually terrifying.
Oh, please. Do you know who first noticed your affair? It was Jake.
What?
It was around this time last year Jake was in Houston for a sports tournament.
Houston?
You understand what I'm saying, don't you? You and your mistress, along with your daughter, were also in Houston for a little family trip, weren't you? You played house, pretending to be one big happy family, didn't you? And Jake saw it with his own eyes. It's been almost a year since that incident, so Jake seems to have calmed down a bit, but I won't let you act as if you don't understand how traumatic this has been for him. I also know that right now you, your mistress, and your daughter are temporarily staying in a weekly rental apartment in the city. I'll be sending you a certified letter there. I've already contacted a lawyer, so you better prepare yourself.
Destiny, I received the certified letter.
The evidence of your affair was included too, wasn't it?
Yeah. I can't believe you managed to dig up so much information. But thanks to that, I've realized something important.
What would that be?
You seem to know an awful lot about my girlfriend and daughter.
Well, of course. Since I'm preparing for a divorce on the grounds of infidelity, I had to thoroughly gather evidence to prove your responsibility.
If you know that much, it means you hired a private investigator or something, right?
That's right. Given the distance to where you were stationed, it was the only practical option.
I knew it. In that case, the investigation fees you used will be deducted from the alimony I owe.
Excuse me?
The money you used for that must have come from what I earned through my work, right? As a stay-at-home wife, you don't have your own income. Since you used my money without permission, it's only fair that you pay me back.
I'm not a stay-at-home wife anymore, though.
What?
Right now, Jake is sitting next to me and reading your messages. He's saying, Dad really doesn't know anything, does he?
What's that supposed to mean?
You remember how Jake sent you a link to an online bookstore the other day?
Yeah, I remember. It was for some novel, right?
That novel is my source of income.
Wait, what? Jake sent me a message telling me to check the author's name, so I went to the online shopping page he mentioned. And there it was! The author's name was your old last name, Destiny!
When Jake entered middle school, I submitted a novel to a competition just for fun, To my surprise, it ended up winning an award. I decided to use my maiden name as a pen name to separate it from my real identity. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision, and I've just continued writing under that name ever since. Thought I'd told you about how it eventually brought in enough royalties to live comfortably. Did I not mention it before?
Wait, seriously?
I'm pretty sure I even handled all the paperwork about our tax and dependency status at the time. Did you forget?
What?
Anyway, that's the situation. So no, I'm not a full-time housewife. And just so you know, the cost of hiring the private investigator, I covered it entirely with my own money. There's no need for you to worry about that.
Oh, I see.
Also, the one who needs to move out of that house is not me, Samson. It's you.
What?
You seem to have forgotten, but this house originally belonged to my parents. When my father passed away 2 years ago, I inherited it. Did you forget about that too?
Now that you mention it, yeah, I remember. But you've got to be kidding me. I thought this house didn't have rent to worry about, so I could bring my girlfriend and daughter here. Where are we supposed to live now? Hey, Destiny! I can kind of understand the alimony. Both my girlfriend and I were already prepared to pay that, but what's the deal with child support?
What do you mean, what's the deal? It's child support for Jake, of course. You're responsible for paying it until he turns 21.
Wait a minute, the legal age of adulthood is 18 now, isn't it? Don't you know that?
Oh, is that what this is about? Of course I know.
Then I shouldn't have any obligation to pay child support anymore, should I?
Wrong.
What?
Child support is typically required until the child turns 21. The change in the age of adulthood to 18 doesn't affect that.
What?
Think about it. The age for drinking and smoking is still 21, right? It's the same principle.
Seriously?
If you're unsure, you can consult your lawyer. Oh, and another thing. I'm guessing you were just reaching out without properly reviewing the certified documents we sent yesterday. But let me remind you, I consulted a legal professional before making these claims for alimony and child support. The chances that we made any errors in the calculations or the claims themselves are extremely low. So instead of bombarding me with questions, maybe you should do your research first. Try to understand my perspective here. It's exhausting having to explain this every time.
Destiny, about Jake's child support. It's only for 2 years, right? Can't you cut me some slack?
What? If it's only 2 years, then pay up properly.
No, it's not like that. Look, I have a daughter now. She's gonna need a lot of money as she grows up.
Let me guess, you're saying you didn't prepare for Jake's child support because you wrongly assumed it wouldn't be required, right? And for the record, the child support isn't for me, it's for Jake. He said if my father can't even fulfill basic parental responsibilities, then I'll make sure to get what's due. So that's his stance on the matter.
What?
I respect Jake's decision on this.
But seriously, I'm strapped for cash and paying it all at once?
Figure it out yourself. I don't trust you.
At least let me pay in monthly installments. Come on!
It's time you stopped making excuses.
What?
If you have questions, ask your lawyer. If you have any requests, communicate them through your lawyer.
Destiny!
I'm not going to block you because of Jake, but as a general rule, I'd prefer all communication to go through my lawyer.
Wait, hold on!
Bye.
Destiny! Destiny, it's me, Samson. Your ex-husband, Samson?
Ugh.
I expected that reaction, but please, just hear me out. This is really important.
What do you want?
I got divorced.
Huh?
My wife, she left me. She just up and left, taken off without a second thought. Said she couldn't see a bright future for our marriage anymore. She even left our daughter behind with me.
Oh, I see. Let me guess. You dumped all the housework and childcare responsibilities on her, didn't you?
What? How did you...
Just a hunch. I figured you hadn't changed, and it looks like I was right.
Oh, man, I knew it. You're the only one who really understands me.
Hmm?
Let's get married. You're still living in that house, right? I'll bring my daughter over tonight and you can become her new mother.
I'm already remarried.
What?
Yes, my husband is a fellow novelist, someone my age. I've also moved out of that house. I live in his apartment now. As for the house you're referring to, Jake and his wife are the ones living there since they got married.
Jake got married? Why didn't anyone tell me?
Jake suggested I wait and surprise you with the news. He's right here next to me, actually.
What?
Jake and his wife are visiting me right now. When Jake heard about you still pestering me, he joked that it's better to come clean about my marriage. He thought keeping it a secret might backfire somehow.
What the hell?
Oh, and one more thing. Don't even think about reaching out to Jake for help. He doesn't see you as his father and would call the police on you in seconds.
The police?
Anyway, I think we're done here. You've said what you needed to say, right? Goodbye.
Wait, hold on. What am I supposed to do? How do I even raise a teenage daughter? I have no idea how to deal with her. Do you have any advice? She's in such a difficult phase right now, and the house, it's falling apart. I mean, it's a complete mess, and I don't know how to keep up with cleaning and everything. Destiny, please!
Samson's tendency to completely abandon household responsibilities, leaving them all on my shoulders, wasn't something that started after our divorce. It's something that happened consistently throughout our marriage. From the moment we said our vows, it became a pattern, one that would continue throughout our time together. There was never any real effort on his part to share the workload of housework or parenting. It was as if he had no concept of what it meant to be a partner in those respects, and I found myself doing everything. At the time, I thought it was just the way things were supposed to be. I tried to convince myself that I could handle it, but in reality, it drained me to my core. And looking back, it's hard to believe I allowed it to continue for as long as I did. I can still remember how I felt when it was finally decided that my ex-husband would be transferring to a new position on his own. The decision felt like both a relief and a burden being lifted all at once. It was like the weight of the world had been taken off my shoulders, and I was finally going to be free. I distinctly remember thinking, I'm finally going to be free of the big child that I've been living with for so long. It's almost embarrassing to admit that now, but at the time, that thought brought me a sense of clarity. It was the first time in years that I didn't feel as if I was carrying the weight of everything by myself. I felt like I could breathe again. That moment was so important to me because it was the breaking point, the realization that I could no longer continue on that path. I had been overwhelmed for so long, trying to juggle the demands of our marriage, the household, and the kids while feeling utterly alone. I had been living with a man who, no matter how much I gave, would never be able to contribute equally. His inability to understand or care about what I was going through was heartbreaking. The moment he left, I could finally breathe, but it also marked the beginning of the end of our relationship. Fast forward to after our divorce, when he eventually married the woman he had been having an affair with. It was no surprise to me. I had watched him carefully choose this woman during our marriage, and it was clear that he was emotionally invested in her long before we officially parted ways. It was almost as though he was more interested in his own desires than in the well-being of his family. I remember feeling betrayed, not just because of the affair, but because I had invested so much in our relationship, only to see him repeat the same mistakes. It was as if the divorce was just the beginning of a cycle he was doomed to repeat. And as expected, after they married, the same pattern unfolded. Samson once again threw all the household responsibilities onto his new wife, leaving her to handle everything while he continued to live a life of convenience and neglect. It was as though nothing had changed. He had simply moved on from one woman to the next. But the habits he had developed during our marriage had not disappeared. Once again, she found herself doing everything while he sat idly by, as if the burden of daily life was hers to bear. The fact that he could so easily fall back into these old habits made me realize just how little he had learned from the past. It was as if he hadn't taken any of the lessons from our marriage to heart, and it didn't take long before the relationship broke down just as our own had. It was heartbreaking to watch, and now after everything, I couldn't help but feel a sense of vindication. The path he had chosen, the one he had walked so easily, had led him right back to the same place, another divorce, another failed relationship. It was as though he couldn't escape the consequences of his actions, no matter how hard he tried. His inability to grow, to learn from his mistakes, had led him down this very predictable road. And it was almost as if I could see it happening before it even began. Now my ex-husband finds himself in a place where he is completely stuck. He has no idea how to navigate the challenges of life, especially when it comes to his daughter. He's clueless when it comes to raising her, interacting with her, or even understanding the basics of parenting. It's as if he's utterly inequipped for the responsibility, and that's probably the saddest part of all. I had hoped after our divorce that he would step up, that he would realize the importance of being a father, but it seems like he only has grown more disconnected from that role. His relationship with his daughter is strained at best. He doesn't know how to talk to her, how to relate to her, or even how to be there for her when she needs him most. In fact, his daughter's relationship with him has become so fractured that she eventually found herself in a position where she felt compelled to reach out to Child Protective Services. The home he's provided for her has become so unbearable that she had no other choice but to seek help. She could no longer live in a house where neglect was the norm. The stench of the house, the mess, the lack of care, everything about it drove her to seek a way out. Can you imagine being a child in that situation? Feeling that your only option is to go to strangers for help because your own parent can't provide a safe, clean, or nurturing environment? It's heartbreaking, and it speaks volumes about the kind of person Samson has become. But this is where the story takes another turn. Not only is his personal life in shambles, but his professional life has also taken a major hit. He's been removed from the fast track to promotion at work. Once a promising employee, his career is now stagnating. It's almost poetic in a way. His inability to commit, his selfishness, and his lack of accountability have all caught up with him. He betrayed people along the way, and now he's paying the price for it. His lack of effort, both at home and at work, has led him to a point of no return. It's a harsh reminder that actions have consequences, and those consequences can follow you in every part of your life. I can't help but feel a certain sense of validation when I think about all that's happened. It's not like I take pleasure in his downfall, but rather that I've been able to see firsthand how life is a way of delivering consequences. We all make choices, and sometimes those choices come back to hurt us. For Samson, the choices he made, time and time again, have led him to a place of misery and regret. It's a stark reminder that happiness doesn't come from avoiding responsibility or taking the easy way out. At the same time, I can't help but feel a sense of sadness for his daughter. She didn't ask for this. She didn't ask for a father who couldn't care for her, who neglected her emotional needs, and who failed to provide the basics of a stable home. The life she's had to endure is something no child should have to go through. Think about her future, and I worry. Will she be able to overcome the damage that's been done? Will she be able to find a way to move forward, or will she carry the scars of her childhood with her into adulthood? It's a question that haunts me, and I wonder if she will ever truly escape the shadow of her father's neglect. For me, the years of exhaustion, of carrying everything on my own, are behind me. I've moved on, and I've learned so much along the way. I've learned the importance of setting boundaries, of not allowing someone else to shoulder all the responsibility while I bear the weight of everything. I've learned about the importance of recognizing my worth and not settling for anything less than the respect and care I deserve. And while my life isn't perfect, it's mine. I've built a life that is my own, free from the burden of someone else's irresponsibility. As for Samson, he's stuck in the mess he created for himself. He's unable to break free from the patterns that have held him captive for so long. He's trapped in a cycle of poor decisions, unable to see a way out. And as I reflect on his situation, I realize that it's a cautionary tale. It's a story of what happens when we fail to take responsibility for our actions, when we prioritize our own desires over the needs of others, and when we refuse to grow. His life is a reflection of everything he chose, and the consequences have been devastating. He may never fully realize the depth of his mistakes, but his story will always serve as a reminder of the importance of accountability. Looking back at who I was during our marriage, tired, frustrated, and desperate for a change, I realize just how far I've come. I'm no longer the person who quietly suffered under the weight of someone else's neglect. I've claimed my sense of self, and I have found peace in knowing that I am in control of my own life now. Samson's story may be one of failure, but it's also a story of lessons learned, and those lessons will stay with me as I continue to move forward. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Pete, where are you right now?
Huh? Mom? Why are you texting me right now?
I've got something I need to ask you. Do you have a second to chat?
I'm a little bit busy right now, but what is it?
Seems like you're not home right now. Where are you?
Huh? Did you go to my place?
I don't remember you ever saying you'd be making your way over.
I came by to share some things I received as gifts, but when I rang the doorbell, no sound came from inside. I thought you might have gone out, or maybe even turned off the sound because you'd be going out for a while.
Well, that's actually true. Right now, Mary and I are on a little getaway, just the two of us at a hot spring resort. We're even in the mixed bath right now.
I see. A hot spring trip, huh?
Yeah, we decided last minute that we'd take a trip together this weekend. Mary had been wanting to go to this particular hot spring inn, so I booked it. The mixed bathing was the selling point for me.
Well, as long as you two are getting along, that's what matters.
Yeah, but I should probably get going soon. We still need to get to the inn's souvenir shop before it closes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll even get you a little something as a souvenir.
Oh, that's sweet of you, thank you. Now, before you go, there's just one more thing.
What is it?
Mary. She's been left in the bathtub at home, but she's still got a broken bone.
What?
She was forced into the bathroom, and when she slipped, she lost her balance and ended up falling into the tub. Of course, I'd already rescued her, and we've called an ambulance. She's been treated at the hospital and is staying there. It's not really an emergency that needs to be reported, since it doesn't seem too serious.
Wait a second. It sounds like you're thinking I did something to her, but that's not the case. Mary's been with me the whole time.
Huh?
I made sure to lock up properly before leaving, and there's no way anyone else, let alone Mary, would be in the house. You think there's some doppelganger impersonating her? And why would she be stuck in the bathtub with a broken bone? What kind of crazy situation is that?
Well, but I rang the doorbell and nobody answered. I heard a loud noise from inside, so I started to worry something had happened. I'm sorry, but I used the spare key I've been keeping, and I went inside.
Wait, you have a spare key?
Yes, we decided a while ago that we'd each keep a spare key to each other's places in case of emergencies. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it to you before.
I don't remember that.
Anyway, when I went inside and looked around, I checked the bathroom, and there was Mary, unconscious in the bathtub, still with water in it and a broken bone.
No, wait, it's not that strange for us to leave a bathtub filled with water for a short trip like this. But again, I'm telling you, Mary is with me, and this is a picture we took before we got into the hot spring. The hotel staff took it for us.
Wait, is that Mary? Oh, what is going on?
Oh, wait just a second. Mary's saying she thinks that woman might be her twin sister.
Her twin sister? Now that you mention it, I remember Mary talking about that when we visited for the marriage introduction. She said that her parents always favored her twin sister and that after graduating high school, she was practically kicked out of her parents' house. She hasn't been back to visit in almost 10 years.
Ah, so it's kind of like they've been estranged then. I'm not sure why her twin sister would have been at our place, but if there really are two people who look that alike, then maybe Mary's the one getting confused.
So you're saying the person in the hospital now might actually be her sister?
Yeah, the twin's name is Bailey, I think. There's a chance Bailey is either mistaken about what happened or maybe even making up some story.
Well, either way, I hate to ask, but you should cut your trip short and come home. This is your place, and I can't handle all this by myself.
Got it. But I drove here, and both Mary and I had some drinks, so I can't drive back just yet. I'll have to wait until tomorrow morning when the alcohol wears off before we can leave.
Well, I guess it's the only choice then. I understand. Good morning, Mary. Can you use your smartphone? Yes, Laura. My aunt, who just arrived here, is going to help me input things for you, if that's okay. Oh, the one who cares about you the most out of all your relatives, right? Yes, that's her. Well, if that's the case, I don't mind at all. In fact, this is because of my foolish son, so it's good for someone who's helping you to know the situation. Then, if you don't mind, I'll take advantage of your kindness and proceed. First, thank you for preparing a temporary smartphone for me. As I mentioned yesterday, my own smartphone was taken away by Bailey. It's been a huge help. It's nothing. It's a prepaid phone, so it might be a bit inconvenient, but it's better than not having one at all. Yes, thank you very much. Now, please allow me to report the situation so far. Go ahead. First of all, as you suspected, my foolish son seems to have gone on a trip to the hot spring with Bailey. When I explained the situation here, he tried to cover it up by saying Mary was with me and it was Bailey who ended up in the hospital. I see, so that's what happened. He even sent me a picture of the two of them taken at the inn. But even if it was just by chance, knowing how to tell the two of you apart made it backfire on him. By sending that picture, he basically proved himself that it was Bailey who was with him on the trip. I never expected that casual conversation would actually be useful. It really was just by chance, but the way I taught you to tell the two of us apart, I never mentioned it to Kiyoshi. I never thought that the two of them would actually have a chance to cross paths, so that's what happened, huh? Anyway, I've been getting a flood of messages from Kiyoshi just now. I need to deal with those for a moment. Thank you for your help.
Mom! This is bad!
What's wrong?
Bailey was taken away!
You've already made it back home, right?
Yes. When I got home, I found a middle-aged couple waiting at the front door. They yelled at Bailey and slapped her, then just took her away. What's going on?
Pete, don't you feel like what you're saying is a bit contradictory?
Contradictory?
Who was taken away by that couple waiting for you?
Bailey!
Who was it that went on the trip with you?
Sorry, I got flustered and mixed up the names. Oh, I can't believe I made a mistake with my wife's name. I need to calm down and think straight. It was Mary who was taken away.
Pete.
Hey, what am I supposed to do?
You need to realize that everything's already been figured out. Let me tell you something. I know how to tell Mary and Bailey apart.
What?
When you two had just gotten married, I happened to have the chance to learn it from Mary. She said it was something that Bailey herself probably didn't even realize. Not many people can tell the two apart using that method. She mentioned that.
What's this method? I just tell them apart by their hairstyles and clothing preferences. When we were on the trip, I had Mary wear a wig to match her usual hairstyle so no one would catch on.
You really think now is the right time to be telling me this?
But still.
I think by now you understand that the one rescued from the bathtub and hospitalized is Mary. Pete, it was Bailey who you took on the hot spring trip. No, the affair trip. Your relationship has been exposed, and the couple who took Bailey away were Mary and Bailey's parents.
What? Those people are their parents? Why? Why are their parents suddenly involved?
Recently, a company had been persistently offering us a deal, and when Mary realized that it was her father's company, she told me about it.
Wait, seriously?
At first, I didn't think it would be a reason to turn down the deal, but then the incident in the bathtub happened and your affair with Bailey came to light.
This is really bad, huh?
So I suggested to Mary's father, even though this situation is personal, it's clear that it's a disadvantage for both of our companies. How about we settle it by having you two who committed the infidelity pay Mary a lump sum for the damages, and we agree to cut off all future business dealings between our companies.
And what happened after that?
The proper response will likely come soon. For now, the reply I received was, "We'll pick up Bailey right away." So they arranged to ambush you when you returned home.
I see. I thought sending the photo of the two of us together during the trip would make it hard to tell us apart since we're twins. But instead it ended up being the concrete proof that confirmed the affair.
Pete, you're disowned.
Huh?
Decide for yourself whether you stay at the company or not.
What? I have no choice but to stay. I'm supposed to be the next president, after all.
Huh? Did I ever say that?
But my mom is the president.
So?
My grandfather was the first president, my dad was the second, and my mom's the third. When Dad passed away, I was still a student, so I was supposed to take over when I was old enough, right?
What are you talking about? We're arranging for the current executive director to take over as president next year.
What? He's not even related to our family.
I'm just choosing someone who's fit to be the leader of the company. It's strange to cling to a hereditary system when thinking about the future of the company. And also, Mary is moving forward with the divorce, so you should prepare for that.
Are you serious?
Mary, how are you feeling? I'm doing okay. It looks like I'll be able to leave the hospital in a few days. The doctors say that I'll still need crutches for a little while, but I should be able to get back to work by next month. I'm looking forward to returning to my routine, even if it's going to take some time to fully recover. That's such a relief to hear, but I want to remind you not to push yourself too hard. You've been through a lot recently, dealing with the divorce, the hospitalization, and everything else on top of that. It's understandable if you're feeling both physically and mentally exhausted. Well, you're right about that. I am tired, and things have been overwhelming at times. But I think the best thing for me right now is to get back to my normal life as quickly as possible. There's something comforting about getting back into the rhythm of daily routines, you know. I completely understand. Sometimes getting back to normal is the best thing for your recovery. Thank you so much for your concern, though. It means a lot to me that you're thinking of me. Oh, and speaking of things, there's something I should probably mention to you. What is it? It seems your father has been removed from his position as company president. Wait, really? That's unexpected. Yeah, it turns out that the business deal with us was a huge opportunity for the company, a make-or-break mission that would determine their future. However, when the president's daughter messed things up, the people in the company started demanding that he be held accountable. The situation ended with your father being removed from his role as president. It's a bit of a mess right now. Oh, I see. That's quite the turn of events. Well, to be honest, I'd rejected that deal multiple times, even before all the chaos started. But I can imagine that your father was shocked. Yeah, I can only imagine. It must have been a huge shock for him, especially considering how things unfolded. He probably never anticipated that the daughter he's estranged from would be married to the son of the very company president they were negotiating with. And to top it off, that his youngest daughter would try to steal his wife's husband. It must have been a lot for him to process. Well, about that, it seems like my sister and Pete met by sheer coincidence. But as they spent more time together, Pete eventually revealed that he was the son of the company president and that his wife was my twin sister. At some point, my sister realized who he was and, knowing what had been going on, decided to invite Pete to join her. The misunderstanding where Pete was thought to be the next president was simply an error in judgment on their part. It wasn't intentional. And that's not just Pete's fault either. Honestly, where did we go wrong with how he was raised? I feel like I've caused you nothing but trouble, and I'm sorry. It's all been a mess, and I regret it. No, you don't have to apologize. It's not your fault. My family has caused you trouble, and I want to apologize for that. I know it hasn't been easy on you either. You know what? Once you're out of the hospital, how about we go out for a meal together? It doesn't matter that we're no longer mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, but the relationship we've built in the company is still important. I really don't want things to be awkward or tense between us. You're someone I've come to rely on, and I don't want to let anything damage that. Thank you. That really makes me happy to hear. I'm relieved that you're still willing to work together despite everything. I've always appreciated your support, and I look forward to continuing our professional relationship. Of course, and I'm sure we'll both be able to keep our personal and professional lives separate without letting anything interfere. I've always trusted you, and I hope we can move forward without any more complications. Yes, I agree. It's important for both of us to keep things civil and professional. I really appreciate that you're still willing to have this conversation despite everything that's happened. Absolutely. Life can throw so many unexpected challenges at us, but it's how we handle them that matters in the end. I'm glad we're able to speak so honestly about everything, and I'm confident we'll both come out of this stronger. I completely agree. I've learned a lot from this experience, and I know we both want what's best for the future. Let's continue to support each other moving forward. I'm glad we see eye to eye on this. Thank you for being understanding and willing to put everything behind us. I'm sure things will work out for the best. You're welcome. Let's move forward with positivity and focus on the future. I'm looking forward to continuing our work together. Likewise, thank you again for your understanding and for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate everything. Well, of course, it's the least I can do. Let's keep working together and make sure that everything gets back on track. Bailey's situation was difficult. After her parents' divorce, the entire family was torn apart, and she found herself having to fend for herself. It was a challenging time for her, as the separation had left a deep mark on everyone involved. The emotional toll was immense, and without any other option, she had to face the harsh reality of being alone. In order to survive, she had to look for ways to secure her living arrangements. The options available to her, however, were far from ideal. She sought out married men, hoping to find some form of financial stability, something that could get her through each day. Her decisions, however, didn't come without consequences. As it often happens in such situations, her actions led to yet another messy scandal, with accusations of misconduct and requests for compensation. It seemed as though each time she tried to secure a way of life, it only led to more problems and legal entanglements. Now she found herself in a position where she had to rely on a job that required her to put her body to use in order to make ends meet. It wasn't a situation she had envisioned for herself, but it was the reality she faced. Each day she had to make tough choices to ensure she could pay her bills and maintain a roof over her head. The cycle of seeking financial support from others only to face humiliation and new challenges was something she had become all too familiar with, yet, despite it all, Bailey kept pushing forward, finding a way to survive each day. Then there was my son, Pete. Unlike Bailey, Pete didn't have debts, but he wasn't in a much better position. While he was debt-free, he also lacked the savings necessary to provide for himself with any security. His life, therefore, was a constant struggle, living paycheck to paycheck. He found himself struggling to make ends meet every single day. It wasn't just about making ends meet. It was about living with the constant stress of not knowing if tomorrow would bring more hardship. He had no financial cushion to fall back on, no savings account to dip into when things got tight. In many ways, Pete's life was a reflection of the uncertainty that had plagued him. He had hoped for a better future, but without the necessary resources or stability, his dreams often felt just out of reach. One of the biggest challenges Pete faced was his lack of special skill or ability that would set him apart from the competition. He didn't have a unique talent or qualification that could guarantee him a good job, something that could elevate him above the rest. Instead, Pete found himself in a job market that was increasingly competitive, with fewer opportunities available for people without specific skills or experience. Despite his best efforts, he wasn't able to land a decent job. He aimed high, hoping to find something that would allow him to live a more comfortable life. But his expectations often exceeded what he was qualified for. His high hopes and ambition weren't enough to overcome the lack of practical experience or a clear career path. Each failed job application and each missed opportunity added to the frustration, making him feel more lost and disconnected from the success he had once envisioned. Now Pete's life had come down to day labor. It wasn't glamorous, and it certainly wasn't the dream he had for himself, but it was the reality he had to face. Every day he worked hard, barely making enough to survive. The hours were long, the work was physically demanding, and the pay was minimal. Yet it was the one thing that kept him afloat. With each passing day, he pushed himself to keep going, to find a way to keep surviving. The stress of living paycheck to paycheck was unrelenting. It seemed as though no matter how hard he worked, there was always something that drained him. Whether it was the rising cost of living, the uncertainty of his future, or the constant pressure to do more with less. The struggles of both Bailey and Pete were a reminder of how quickly life could spiral out of control. What seemed like a simple issue, whether it was a bad decision, a missed opportunity, or an inability to plan for the future, could quickly lead to a chain of events that altered the course of someone's life. For Bailey, it was a series of poor choices that left her in a precarious situation, relying on relationships with married men and eventually ending up in a job she never imagined. For Pete, it was the failure to develop marketable skills and the inability to find stable employment that left him living paycheck to paycheck, always struggling to stay afloat. The weight of their struggles was overwhelming, and it seemed as though there was no easy way out. While I dealt with my own difficulties, I watched my children struggle, each in their own way, and it left me feeling conflicted. On one hand, I understood the pressures they faced and sympathized with their struggles. On the other hand, I couldn't help but feel frustration, knowing that they were not doing enough to change their situations. The choices they made led them down difficult paths, and now they were facing the consequences. It was hard to watch, especially knowing that there was only so much I could do to help. Eventually, after a period of constant turmoil, things began to settle down. The family drama and the financial struggles seemed to have calmed, and there was a brief sense of peace. It was at this point that I made the decision to step down from my role as president of the company. I had been in charge for so long, and the responsibility had taken a toll on me. It was time for me to let go, to allow someone else to take over the reins and steer the company in a new direction. I chose to pass on the position to the executive director, someone I trusted to guide the company into the future. With the leadership transition complete, my focus shifted. I decided to focus on expanding our operations internationally, particularly in China, where we had an opportunity to establish a new base. This was a critical time for the company, and I knew that it was important for us to establish a strong presence in the Chinese market. To help me with this, I brought on Mary, who had made a remarkable recovery from her previous issues, as my assistant. Mary was a loyal and capable individual, and I knew that she would be invaluable in helping me navigate this new venture. Together, we headed to China, where we would face the challenges of establishing a new business presence in a foreign market. The road ahead was not easy, and there would be many obstacles to overcome, but it was an exciting time, a new beginning, a fresh start, and a chance to make a lasting impact. As I reflected on the journey that had brought me to this point, I couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation for what was to come. I had faced my own struggles and had watched my children face theirs. But now it was time to focus on the future, on new opportunities, and on building something that would make a difference. In many ways, this new chapter felt like a chance for redemption. It was a chance to rebuild, to create something meaningful, and to find success in a new environment. With Mary by my side and a renewed sense of purpose, I was ready to take on the challenges ahead. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to make it work. After everything that had happened, I was ready to embrace the new opportunities that lay before me, knowing that this was my chance to make a fresh start.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
You know, I was thinking,
What is it, Lauren?
do you ever visit your in-laws? Because I can't recall a time that you were never around for festivities. Even for, like, Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Well, no, we don't visit our parents.
Why not? Don't they ever ask you?
I guess my brother never explained to you our situation with my in-laws. Sorry, I should have asked him to fill you in. I didn't mean to keep you in the dark.
So, do you have any issues with them or something? Is that why you're so distant?
It was actually not my decision that we ended up this way. My husband made the final call. It's been over 3 years now since we last saw them. But basically, John wasn't getting along with his parents, and when things started to fall apart between them, his parents began to bully me. It became a huge stress for the two of us, so we ended up distancing ourselves from them, which was a very sad thing to do, but it was necessary for us to remain happy.
Oh, I see. So is that why John took your last name?
Yeah, it is. Things got so bad that he didn't want to carry his family name anymore. We never understood why they turned out the way they did, but we just couldn't deal with them anymore. And he didn't want them to come after him, so he decided to change names.
Wow, I had no idea. But I'm so jealous.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, I wish I didn't have to deal with in-laws either. I wouldn't have to deal with old people anymore. It would make my life so much easier if I could just cut ties with mine. You should feel lucky that you don't have to worry about them.
Okay.
Don't you think it's the biggest downfall of being married? It was for me when I married your brother. I mean, you have your own folks to worry about, right? But on top of that, you have to worry about another set of demanding old people and keeping them pleased. I mean, I'm sure you have a rough time with yours at first too. But look at you now, all worry-free. I envy you. I guess. I couldn't believe Ben when he said he wanted to live down the street from his parents when we literally married for 2 minutes before we moved here. I mean, I am glad we at least found a nice apartment, big enough and everything, but I would rather not have to deal with the in-laws. They are such a burden, you know. They're always calling me, asking for a ride, or helping them carry something.
Lauren, dear, I think you are forgetting who I am. What do you mean? I mean that I am your husband's sister, which also means that your in-laws are actually my parents. Are you trying to tell me that they are being mean to you? In which case, I would help you in a heartbeat. But I don't think that this is the case right now, is it? I know they need a lot of help, but they try to keep their distance, at least when they don't need physical assistance.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're trying hard enough.
Well, I am sorry that you feel that way, but they are. Especially my mom. She hates to be dependent on you and Ben.
Whatever.
Listen, Lauren, I know your mind just slipped, but what you said about my parents earlier kind of hurt my feelings. So please be careful about what you say. It's never nice to hear someone talk badly about their family. I'm sure you understand.
I was just making a general comment. You don't have to be so harsh, Alicia.
I'm being harsh? I'm sure that you would feel annoyed if I said anything bad about the people you cared about. And for the record, the reason why you moved close to my parents was because you two couldn't afford to live in the city anymore, was it not? My parents offered to help you two pay rent for that apartment, in exchange that you guys help them to get around because they both have bad knees now. And yet, as far as I understand, it is my mom helping you with all the chores around your apartment when you are busy job hunting. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think that you are in the position to complain. You should be grateful for the help that you've been receiving.
Well, I guess. But I didn't start this conversation to get scolded by you. I was just making small talk.
I get it. And I can't control how you feel about my parents. But you should at least be careful who you spill those feelings to. There's no need to hurt people like that.
Sure, Alicia. You're so right. I should have known better than to try and have a real conversation with you.
What the heck does that mean? Hello? Lauren?
Do you have a minute, Alicia?
Hey, Ben. Yeah, of course. Is everything okay? Unlike you to message me instead of just calling me.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to hear me speaking to you.
Oh dear. I sense something serious is going on. Kind of serious, yes? What's going on? Talk to me.
Well, the thing is, and I know this is out of the blue, Lauren is claiming that Mom is being mean to her. Mean as in bullying her, apparently.
What?
She doesn't want to live close to them, so she wants to move out of town and go back to the city. But right now, she feels that it's better that she looks for a job in this area instead of the city. So instead of us moving, she's asking that they move out of town so that she doesn't have to see her anymore.
Whoa, hold your horses! She wants Mom and Dad to move from the town they've been living since we were born?
I know, right? She just ambushed me with all this information.
Ben, I'm sorry. I know that Lauren is your wife and you love her. But do you believe her? I mean, we are talking about her mother here.
I know. I hate to not be able to believe in my wife, I really do. But I also don't think Mom is capable of being mean to anyone. I at least don't have evidence that she has been, so no, I can't just jump to a conclusion and believe everything Lauren says about Mom. I think I'm gonna have to speak to the both of them before I decide on anything.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that you at least trust Mom too. You certainly should clarify the situation with the two for sure.
What I need your advice on is what to ask Mom, though. I mean, I can't just go up to her and ask, "Have you been bullying my wife?" She'd be so upset if I ever asked her like that. But then again, how the hell do I even bring out a topic like that to her? Besides, I'm super busy with this project that I've been assigned to. I've barely been home, and on top of that, I'm going on a business trip in 2 days to complete a training for my new position. I have so much on my mind right now, I don't know if I can deal with everything in the right manner. It feels like my head is about to explode.
Okay, I understand. It's alright, dear. Don't stress yourself out too much. Do you have any time to swing by my house tonight or tomorrow? It'll be a super quick stop, I promise.
I guess I could tonight, but why?
I'm gonna give you my secret weapon, brother. Come see me tonight when you can. I'm always up late anyway, so no rush.
Okay, I'll call you again when I'm ready to leave work.
Sure, I'll be here.
Hey, Alicia, I got it all set up. We're good to go. How long do you think I should keep it running?
I let it run about a month when I used it before, but it's up to you and the content, I guess.
Okay, well, I want to be sure to catch as much information, so I won't remove it for at least a month. Is it okay if I keep it that long, though?
Yeah, of course. That's why I gave it to you. I don't have any plans to use it anyway, thankfully. You can keep it if you want.
Okay, thanks so much, Alicia.
Anytime. I hope you get what you need. Have a safe trip, yeah?
Yes, thanks. I'll message you when I get back.
Hey, Alicia. I have a question.
Hi, Lauren. What's up?
Your condo, it has 3 bedrooms, right?
Yeah, it is. Why do you ask?
Whose name is it under?
That's a weird question. It's under my husband's. Why are you asking me this? Are you interested in buying a condo?
I see. A 3-bedroom for the 2 of you. So you've got plenty of space. Okay, got it. Thanks.
What? Lauren, what do you need to know? Hello?
Hey, Alicia, I just got back from my training.
Hey, how was your trip?
Busy, but it was resourceful. About that thing we set up before my trip, I checked what I've got on it as soon as I got home, and, well, it looks like we never had to wait a whole month after all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What are you doing tonight?
I have plans to go out tonight, but I am free this whole weekend.
Okay, then can I visit you tomorrow? With Mom?
With Mom? Yeah, sure.
And is it alright if she stays with you for a little while?
Of course she can stay with us. But is everything okay? Thanks.
Well, let's just say you'll be surprised to learn what I've found. Is it alright if we're at your condo around 10 a.m.?
Sounds good.
Okay, see you tomorrow then.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for earlier, sis, and thanks for taking Mom in. I just wanted her to feel safe, you know?
Hey, of course. You are doing the right thing. Don't you worry about anything here. She'll be in good hands. Are you back home now?
No, I couldn't go home. I mean, I will go eventually, but I just needed some time to think about everything, so I stopped by my office. No one's here on the weekends, so it's nice and quiet.
I understand. This is all very difficult to take in. I can't believe what we saw earlier.
I know. But hey, I'm glad you gave me that surveillance camera to record what went on in my house, or else things could have gotten worse. I never imagined that my own wife could be so awful to my mother. I mean, it was pretty bad.
I know. Who would have thought that a grown woman would lie like that? She is being bullied, when in reality she is the one bullying.
And that message between you and Lauren that you showed me about her complaining that our parents are so demanding, or how she doesn't want them around, that was also quite shocking for me. But it helps me understand the kind of person she is, so I'm glad you showed me.
Yeah, I'm really sorry I had to show them to you. But after seeing that footage, it doesn't make sense to keep it from you. What did you think about them anyway?
I mean, I think you're totally right. For some reason, Lauren considers in-laws to be enemies, and whatever the reason may be, it's probably why she began to bully Mom in the first place. And that short conversation about the size of your condo, it's as if she's considering where to place Mom.
Yeah, that was totally random, but it makes sense now. Oh, speak of the devil, Lauren is messaging me now. I wonder what this is about. I'm going to see what she is up to.
Wow, how timely of her. Okay, well, let me know when you're done exchanging messages with her. I have a few things I'd like to say as well.
Got you. I'll keep you posted.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much for agreeing to take your mother-in-law. I am really glad she will be off my back for a little while. I'm sure Ben has told you by now. But I've been struggling with her for a while. I couldn't believe it at first, but she's been very mean to me, as if she didn't want me to be in the family anymore. I was so shocked when it all started. She was so nice to me when I first moved into town, but then for the past couple of months, she gradually began to bully me. At first, it was small things, like she would complain about the food I made for her, or she would make a huge mess in the room that I had just cleaned. But recently, it's been a lot worse. Like, I actually been bullied by her.
Lauren, just to be clear, are you being honest about what you are saying right now?
Of course. Why would I ever lie to you? I mean, think about it. Ben brought your mom to you to physically separate us so that she wouldn't do anything to me. Doesn't that prove that she is being harmful to me?
All right. Well, I guess this is between you and me then. That was your last chance, to be honest. But you're no longer welcome in my house or in our family. And the Hawaii trip we were planning on going in the spring? You're not joining us.
What the hell? Why are you being mean to me as well? You know that Hawaii trip was the only thing that has kept me going amidst my stressful job hunting process. You can't just take that away from me. That's just too mean.
You know what, Lauren? Nothing you can say can make me reconsider. Because I know you're making everything about my mother. You've been busted. My brother didn't bring my mother to me to save you. He did it to save her from being bullied by you, the daughter-in-law.
What? How can you accuse me for something like that? I have never bullied your mother. She's the one bullying me. You are the one making horrible stories. Crazy ones. How horrible of you.
No, I'm not making anything up. In fact, I can prove it.
Excuse me?
I know everything, Lauren. I know that the true story is that you invite my mother to dinner just so you can mess with her food. Or that you pretend like she trashes your house, but it's only that you have never cleaned it in the first place. I also know that you call her names every time she is near you. You take advantage of her helping you with chores, and you return it with betrayal. None of us will ever believe anything you say.
How the hell did you know all of this?
Because we set up a surveillance camera in your apartment.
What? A camera?
Just to be clear, there is nothing illegal to set up a camera in the house for security purposes.
But you invaded my privacy. That is totally unfair.
Unfair? You tried to set my mother up for bullying you. Tells me that I am being unfair? Don't make me laugh. Anyway, you're no longer a part of this family as of now. I'm sure Ben was planning on telling you later, but I will just tell you now. You can pack your stuff now and get ready to leave. You don't belong in that apartment.
What? Alicia, just because you are my sister-in-law doesn't give you the right to tell me what to do. Whether I leave or not is up to Ben and I.
Actually, I do have a say in this, because I own your apartment.
What? No, you are not.
Yeah, I am. I bought it 3 years ago.
No, it can't be. I heard this apartment belongs to someone's uncle.
Yeah, it used to be owned by my mother's uncle, but I bought it from him when he let it go.
Huh?
You know how I run my own business, right? Well, I had initially intended to use that apartment as my office, but then my business quickly turned into something bigger than I had anticipated. So I didn't stay there long, and instead got a bigger, proper office in the city. I was getting prepared to have the apartment renovated, but then my mother asked if you two could live there.
How the hell did I not know that?
Probably because you never were interested, therefore wasn't listening. How would I know what you do and don't?
Well, you just can't kick me out. You have no reason to.
I don't need a reason to kick you out, silly. I am the owner. I have the say in who lives there and who don't. Besides, like I said, that apartment was supposed to get a renovation, so I am going to get everything nicely redone and rent it out for a higher price.
You're getting this place redone? Well, that's great news. Listen, Alicia, I think we got off the wrong foot here. There's really no need for any hostility. Let's be friends again, like we've been before.
No, none of that talk is necessary. And for the record, I never considered you as a friend with that nasty attitude of yours. Anyway, I have been asked to let Ben know when I am done talking to you, so I am going to let him have his turn now. Good luck talking to him. I'm sure he has a lot to say to you. Bye.
Wait, Alicia! Hello? Hey, it's alright. You don't have to hassle yourself to kick me out. I will just call your mom right now and apologize. I'm sure every misunderstanding will be solved by then.
What? No! Keep her out of this. Lauren! Ben, you need to stop Lauren right now.
What's going on?
She is frantically calling Mom, and she is trying to apologize to get herself out of trouble. Mom is terrified, so I turned off the device just now. But she can't have it turned off forever. Can you stop her now? Please.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm so sorry. Hey, Lauren, you will stop what you are doing now! Leave my mother alone!
But Ben, you don't understand. They are trying to break us up. If I don't apologize to your mother, your sister is going to kick me out. You don't want that, do you, baby?
Oh yeah, I am totally fine with us breaking up. In fact, my heart has been set on getting a divorce for a few days now.
Huh? Why?
What do you mean, why? Alicia already gave you a rundown of things, hasn't she? You know I know what you've been doing.
Come on, baby. You know, it's not something to get a divorce over. I think everybody's just being a little dramatic. Your mother and I were just being girls. You know, we were just having bad moments. But it's gonna be okay.
Oh, don't give me that crap, Lauren. Why don't you show your true self to me? Tell me what you told my sister, or shall I remind you?
I don't know what you are talking about.
You don't want to waste any time maintaining a relationship with your in-laws, right? You told Alicia that you wish you didn't have to deal with them.
Oh, that was just me whining a little. Didn't mean anything. I swear.
It's a little too late to swear on anything, but you should be happy since you're getting what you wanted.
I can't believe Alicia told you. She is such a snitch. That was a private conversation between the two of us.
She wasn't going to tell me because she was hoping you'd be smarter than to treat my parents disrespectfully. But then she found out that you were being harmful to my mother, and on top of that, you actually had the nerve to make up a fake story that she was bullying you. Alicia showed me the conversation between you and her because she was furious that you degrade our innocent mother.
Ben, sweetheart, it's not what you think. I wasn't trying to degrade your mother.
Stop lying to me for once! Tell me the truth. You thought it would make your life easier if you were able to cut ties with my parents, right? You didn't want them taking any moment of your precious life, so you tried to cut them out of the picture. Isn't that the truth? Well, I'll tell you what you can do to make that happen. Just divorce me. You get what you want that way, right?
No, Ben, there's no point if you're out of the picture too. I only wanted it to be the two of us.
Why the hell would I end things with my parents who I have a great relationship with?
Well, Alicia told me about her in-laws and I just thought I could make it happen on my end too.
You are crazy. Don't you see that we're not in the same shoes at all? They actually had real issues. No one was faking or making up stories. Of course it's not gonna work.
Ben, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking straight. I'm really sorry.
No, it's over. I can never trust you again. I already gave your parents a call. They know what you've done, and they are so furious. They should be on their way to pick you up now, so start packing.
Wait, what? You called my parents?
Yeah, because I know you won't leave on your own, will you? I'm not gonna hassle myself to drag you out of the house, so who else would, other than your parents?
Ben, seriously, none of this is necessary. I told you that I am sorry. Please speak up. Just give me a chance to talk to you, please. I don't want a divorce. Ben? Ben!
Lauren's parents arrived at her apartment soon after and dragged her out. Apparently, Lauren acted as if she was the victim and tried to get her parents to sympathize. But her father was already mad about what she had done. He coldly told her that she was an embarrassment to the family and quietly moved her and her belongings to a truck and drove away. Later on, my mother sued Lauren for emotional distress. She also asked for a compensation of her personal goods, which we later found out Lauren has been selling on the internet behind her back. To our surprise, Lauren was living off the money she made by stealing pieces from my mother's large antique collection for months. The money was spent on bags and shoes from luxury brands, and had blown up to more than $10,000. Lauren was able to pay for all the damages she caused, but had to give up every penny she had ever saved, leaving her completely broke. And without any help from her parents, she is now completely on her own. The last I heard, she is living a hard life, working a low-paying job and barely able to keep herself under a roof.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Huh? Why are you two here? I don't remember sending you an invitation, did I? This is my brother's housewarming party, so of course my mother and I are here. We don't need an invitation. We have every right to attend, especially considering that we already spoke with him and everything about it. Oh, really? Well, just to remind you, this is also my house, okay? I really don't want uninvited guests just waltzing in here like they own the place. I mean, I was genuinely shocked when I saw you on the intercom screen. Regardless, my brother will welcome us warmly, so it's not really an issue, is it? There's nothing for you to worry about. Can we move past this now? What's with that tone of yours, acting all high and mighty like that? Let me tell you something. Even if Dan welcomes you with open arms, this house is not the kind of place for people like you, poor and unrefined. Excuse me? I'd like some clarification on what you mean by that. Just take a good look around. This house is what you'd call a mansion, right? It's not something you'll ever experience in your lifetime. Someone like you who spends all day doing manual labor wouldn't even dream of living in a place like this. Do you disagree? Whether this house is a mansion or not isn't the point. What matters is that this is my brother's home, so I have every reason to visit. I don't need to justify myself to you. Let me make something clear. Dan is an extraordinarily successful man. And then there's you. Compared to him, you're just a low-income, uneducated nobody. Honestly, with such a disparity between the two of you, it's as though the blood ties between you have been severed. What exactly are you trying to imply here? Are you saying something about our relationship as siblings? I'm saying that when there is a big gap between siblings, it's only natural that the connection fades. In fact, I'd say the difference between Dan and you is so vast, it's like the two of you aren't even related anymore. I don't think it's up to you to decide something like that. Blood ties don't just vanish because you feel like they should. Oh, come on, don't take it so seriously. I was obviously joking, okay? It's just that people like you, who live paycheck to paycheck, don't seem to understand humor. Right, if you're done with your so-called humor, I'd like to go inside and see my brother now. Could you please let us in? Oh, fine. If you insist on being here, I won't stop you. Go ahead and come in. I'll unlock the door for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Winter, what exactly is the meaning of this? Huh? What do you mean? This is our housewarming party, of course. We've prepared a lovely feast. Oh, but unfortunately, we don't have seats for the two of you, so please feel free to use the balcony. I see. So this is how you've decided to treat us? By making such a petty gesture? Well, it can't be helped, can it? There really aren't any seats left. But you know, our house is a mansion, and even the balcony is stunningly beautiful. I think the winter night sky is breathtaking, and I highly recommend it. Oh, I'll lock the balcony door to help you focus on enjoying the view. That's fine. We'll just leave. Oh, is that so? Goodbye, then. And once you've realized your place, please don't bother coming here ever again. By the way, what exactly were you going to tell Dan about why we left? Oh, I'll just come up with some excuse. Dan is head over heels in love with me and trusts me completely, so no matter what nonsense you two might spout, he'll never believe a word of it. I have no intention of spouting anything. I'm sure to Dan you're a wonderful wife. It's not really my concern. Don't try to act tough just because you're bitter about the situation. It's honestly so pathetic. But whatever. Our house is far away from yours, so we're unlikely to ever cross paths again. Sorry for making you come all the way from the countryside for nothing. Oh, and make sure to tell that filthy, shabby-looking mother of yours the same. Excuse me? Don't tell me you don't understand what I said. Tell your filthy, obviously poor-looking mother the same thing. Take that comment back right now and I'll let it slide. Everything up until this point, I'll forget about it if you just retract that statement. Huh? What on earth are you suddenly saying? Why are you acting all high and mighty? Apologize and take back what you said. That's all it will take to resolve this. Why on earth would I apologize? Are you stupid? If I apologized to someone as lowly as you, my very soul would rot away. So you're refusing to apologize? Got it. Well then, don't say I didn't warn you. What could someone as lowly as you possibly do to someone like me? Someone who's clearly a winner in life. And while we're at it, why are you even talking to me so casually? Hey, pick up the phone already. I have been calling you over and over again. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it ringing. The noise around here is kind of loud right now. Wait, what? 300 calls? That's insane. No, this is way beyond insane. This is your doing, isn't it? What exactly are you talking about? Don't play dumb. I'm talking about you smashing the front of the house with heavy machinery. I can see it plain as day from the balcony. And what's worse, you're using your phone while operating that thing? Well, when you put it that way, I guess you're right. All right then, I'll stop answering your calls. Wait, no, hold on. Okay, fine. Just stop with the heavy machinery already. For the record, I'm sitting in the passenger seat right now. I'm not the one driving, so you can relax. Do you seriously think you can get away with something like this? This isn't some joke you can just laugh off. Oh, don't worry, I have no intention of treating this as a joke. What the? I don't even know what to say to that. What the hell is wrong with you? You know what, forget it. Put your mother on the phone. I need to talk to her. You could at least call her mother-in-law since she's also your husband's mom. Why not just come here in person? You only have to step outside your house after all. Like I'd risk leaving the house when someone is outside smashing it up with heavy machinery. Who knows what you'd do next? And if you manage to talk to her, then what exactly do you plan to accomplish? At the very least, I'd get a reasonable conversation, unlike this madness. You're absolutely insane driving straight into someone's property with a machine like that. So I'm the one who's insane, huh? Of course you are. How could anyone think otherwise? Wait a minute. That's it. I'm calling the police right now. Sure, go ahead. Call them all you want. Why are you so calm about this? If the police show up, you're definitely going to get arrested. And whoever's driving that machine will be too. If that's what you think, then why don't you go ahead and call them already? Oh, you bet I will. You're not going to get away with this, you criminals. Looks like the police have arrived. Serves you right. I hope they slap handcuffs on you and drag you away. You better look forward to paying a hefty amount in damages and compensation. Hey, Mira, oh, it's rare for you to call me by name. What's going on? Well, after hearing so many things, I figured talking to you would be the best option. You're just doing whatever Dan and your mother tell you, right? It's clear that they control you, and it's not like you're doing anything outside of that. No, it was me who arranged for the heavy machinery, and it was me who said we should destroy the house. Dan has money, and he doesn't even want to look at this house anymore. He's finally come around to my way of thinking, so it's not just them pushing me. I didn't wait for anyone's permission. I took it into my hands and made sure we'd get the job done. I see. So you're just as crazy as everyone else. Fine. Let me talk to Dan then. He's not answering his phone. Maybe I can get him to listen to me and calm down. He's been avoiding me, and this whole situation is escalating way too far. Dan isn't in a state to talk right now. Honestly, it's not going to help to talk to him. He's not the one calling the shots here. So he's in shock, huh? He must be devastated after everything that happened with me. I get it. It's obvious from how he reacted before. I didn't think it would come to this, but now I see how deeply this has affected him. No, actually, he's jumping for joy as he watches the gate get torn down. He's thrilled, honestly. It's like a weight's been lifted off of him watching this house fall apart. It seems like he finds satisfaction in destroying something that was supposed to be perfect, something that he worked hard for. What? It seems like he gets some satisfaction from watching something that's newly built get destroyed. The whole thing just seems to be an outlet for him. Maybe it's a way of letting off steam after everything else that's been building up. Honestly, it's surprising, but also it's not the worst thing to happen right now. I see. So I've ended up marrying into a completely dysfunctional family. It's so messed up, all of this. Every single thing we're doing now is way beyond normal. It's so much worse than I ever imagined. How did I get myself into this mess? It wouldn't matter if it were us or anyone else. If you were involved with anyone, this is how it would turn out. This is the result of your own choices. If you had listened and stopped acting out of line, none of this would have happened. But here we are, and I'm not the one to blame. No way! I am the only one in the world experiencing this situation. And it's all your fault for starting this mess with the heavy machinery to destroy the house. You're the one who took it this far. You gave the order, and now everything is spiraling out of control. You have ruined everything. I was just thinking about walking into the house with a wooden sword and giving you a good beating. Would that have been better? You want to fight? You got one. I was so ready to take matters into my own hands before things got really out of hand. Wait, anyone who insults my mother, I don't plan on letting them walk away unharmed. You're not going to get away with this. If you think you can just do whatever you want and get away with it, think again. I've had enough. Wait, what? You're just joking, right? I am dead serious. But my mom said the pain from a punch will fade in a few days, so it's boring. So I decided to destroy the thing you cared about most. You've been flaunting this house in front of us for so long, haven't you? It's the perfect way to hurt you. If you can't learn your lesson from this, then nothing else will get through to you. Your way of thinking is so messed up. And on top of that, once you lose Dan's trust, you'll have nothing left. A little injury can heal with time, but the things you lose, no matter how much time passes, you can't get those back. You've already lost so much, and this is just the beginning of what's coming. Did I do something so terrible to deserve this kind of punishment? I just mocked you a little, didn't I? It's not that bad. I don't understand how things could have gotten this out of control. I was just having fun, and now look where it's gone. This is madness. Insulting my mother in front of me is a serious crime. My mom raised me on her own, and I respect and appreciate her more than anyone else. Dan feels the same way. He owes everything to her. It was her earnings that helped him make something of himself. She worked so hard for us. Just thinking about it makes me want to cry. It's not just about what she's done for me, but for all of us. She's the reason we're here today. I get that you guys care about your mom, but honestly, she's really something else. That's exactly why I love her. When I went off the rails, my mom didn't get angry at me. Instead, she gave me a wooden sword as a gift. With that sword as my trademark, I became the leader of the local girls in our area. But I guess that's not important. It sounds crazy, but that was my reality, and it's still something I carry with me to this day. So, about that wooden sword you had earlier. Yes, it's the one my mom gave me. By the way, I've never used it to hit anyone. I've always told myself I'll use it when I meet someone I can't forgive in life. If I come across someone who truly deserves it, I won't hesitate. I've been patient until now, but things are changing. You may just be the person who pushes me to that point. Does that mean I'm the one you're going to use it on? Where I'm from, nobody ever talked down to us. Dan's position kept me from doing anything until now, but I can't hold back anymore. You pushed me to this point, and now there is no going back. Wait, please forgive me. Please don't hit me. You don't deserve to have this sacred wooden sword swung at you. I don't want to commit any unnecessary sins either. I want to avoid violence, but you've left me with no other choice. If you don't listen to reason, this is where we end up. I'm thankful you won't hit me, but when I married Dan, I quit my job. I don't have any savings, so how am I supposed to live from now on? What do you expect me to do? I put everything on the line, and now I'm stuck. I don't know how I'm going to make it. How should I know? Why don't you try living the lowly life you've mocked for so long? Of course, someone like you probably can't handle it, though. You think you can just walk through life without consequences? This is the reality now. Deal with it. How much longer are you going to keep mocking me? Fine, I'll tell you. My dad is the president of a famous company. If I ask him, I can easily get rid of you. If your daughter is this much of a mess, then I guess your blood ties must be cut off automatically, huh? Don't you dare mock me! I'll never forgive you, Dan, or your mother. I'll make you regret trying to stand up to me, you lowlife. Oh, so that's how it's going to be. What? What did you do? What? What do you mean? Did you get locked out on the balcony? You know exactly what you did. You locked the door from behind, didn't you? Open it now. You're the one who said lowlifes should go to the balcony, right? Well, that's where you belong now, since you're about to become one. During her marriage, Winter had embraced a life of success. She adorned herself with designer clothing, reveled in lavish vacations, and indulged in an extravagant lifestyle, all supported by Dan's financial resources. However, when the divorce severed her access to that wealth, the world began to unravel. She had no job, no personal savings, and no plan for sustaining the lifestyle she had grown accustomed to. Beyond losing her social status, Winter was burdened with a staggering amount of debt, millions of dollars that encompassed alimony, legal fees, and unpaid bills for her years of unchecked spending. It was a sobering reality check for someone who had built her identity on wealth and appearances. Desperate for a way out of her financial turmoil, Winter turned to her parents for support. Her father, the president of a prominent and successful corporation, had the means to help, but his response was far from sympathetic. A man of discipline with high expectations, he had always instilled the importance of independence and hard work in his children. Winter, however, had ignored those values, choosing to instead rely on her own relationships, particularly her marriage, for security. Her father was not just disappointed in her predicament, but was also angered by the recklessness that had led her there. Winter's father viewed her downfall as the accumulation of years of poor choices that contradicted the principles he lived by. He had built his fortune through diligence and integrity, and seeing his daughter squander her privileges and opportunity was a deep blow to his pride. Rather than offering financial assistance, he delivered harsh words of disappointment, forcing Winter to confront the consequences of her actions alone. The realization that her father's support was not forthcoming was devastating, leaving her with a sense of isolation and despair. With no safety net to catch her, Winter's fall from grace was swift and unforgiving. The social circles she once dominated no longer welcomed her, and the lavish lifestyle she had flaunted was now a distant memory. Her disappearance from the public eye was as dramatic as her rise had been. Friends speculated about her whereabouts, but the truth remained elusive. Was she hiding from the shame of her situation, or was she attempting to rebuild her life from scratch? The questions lingered, but Winter offered no answers. Her journey downward prompted a deeper reflection on her choices and priorities. Once Winter had looked down on those who struggled financially, believing herself untouchable. Now she found herself in the very position she had once mocked, powerless, vulnerable, and reliant on the goodwill of others. The shift in her circumstances raised poignant questions. Did she regret the decisions that led her here? Did she see the flaws in her reliance on superficial markers of success? Or did she cling to resentment, blaming others for her plight? The answers remained unclear, shrouded in the silence that surrounded her. In stark contrast, Dan's post-divorce journey took an entirely different trajectory. After enduring the public fallout of his infidelity and the subsequent legal battle, Dan chose to let go of the marital trappings that had defined his marriage to Winter. He sold the land they had once planned to use for the dream home, a grand mansion that symbolized their shared aspirations of wealth and status. For Dan, the divorce marked a turning point. He realized that the life he had built with Winter, one centered on appearances and excess, had brought him no real happiness. Dan downsized his life, moving into a modest apartment and adopting a simpler, more grounded approach to life. He abandoned the pursuit of marital wealth, focusing instead on his career and personal growth. Returning to his work as a doctor, he found renewed purpose in helping others. For Dan, the satisfaction of making a difference in his patients' lives far outweighed the fleeting pressure of luxury vacations or designer possessions. This shift in perspective allowed Dan to rebuild his life on his own terms. No longer driven by societal expectations or the need to impress others, he prioritized his well-being and professional fulfillment. While his new life lacked the glamour of his past, it offered a deeper sense of contentment and peace. Dan's journey stood as a stark contrast to Winter's struggles, highlighting the resilience and clarity that can emerge from adversity when one is willing to embrace change.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.